This week on the Steam Machine Podcast, Yakuza! Cue the music! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me as always are the Shoutout Bros.
What's up, everybody? It's Nate.
How's it going? It's Willie, and we have a guest this week.
Who?
Announce yourself.
My name is Paul Corn. I am one of the resident Yakuza people.
You're in the Yakuza?
Yakuza fans for this podcast. We don't talk about it. Don't worry about it.
We do not talk about La Cosa Nostra, as the
My big tattoo is Gangster SpongeBob.
Oh, that would have been such a better Patreon question. What would be your Yakuza tattoo?
I think we've done that question before, haven't we?
Yeah, but less serious. But this time, last time I was serious.
Oh, yeah. Well, mine would be Squidward.
Oh, dude.
My tattoo's just pissed at his tattoo.
I'm going fucking Bugs Bunny from the Walmart shirts.
Oh, I know the one you mean.
That
yeah, the Scarface Bugs Bunny one. Yes.
Gosh, y'all took all the good ones.
Nate, you can have
Mine's just Gex. Mine's just Gex.
You can have the Looney Tunes and like the Jinko jeans. That whole trend.
Dude, yeah, or the Elmer Fudd.
Nate, it's Tweety and Jinkos. You know it's Tweety and Jinkos. Don't even lie. I told a snitch.
So, I'm curious on Discord, did my intro cut out for y'all?
No.
No, it didn't?
No,
okay. No. Okay, good. I have had stuck in my head the fucking music for Daytona, USA. Daytona! It's just been, like, that little chorus. I was at work the other day, and that just kept playing over and over in my head. Just that.
I wonder if it's because I sent you that one meme of that one Simpsons scene.
Probably. That and on Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast the other day, Tom Campbell randomly just said, Daytona! And
nice.
It's been fucking stuck in my head ever since. But that is good music as far as an arcade racer goes. Like, it's one that stuck out to me from my childhood. Although I will say, or at least around here, Daytona USA's were rare. It was more time. It was like moto racers. Anyway, I don't know what got me on that tangent. How you boys been? Let's start. Whoa. Oh, we got a yellow shirt. We got to go yellow shirt.
What?
How have you been, Paul?
That's more of a mustard shirt, but okay.
Is mustard not a shade of yellow? What are you getting at?
Yeah, right. I have yellow mustard.
Wow, yeah, dude, I feel silly now, don't I?
Yeah, no, I've been all right. You know, there's been some hectic stuff going on. You know, but things have more or less calmed down. So I can kind of take a breath again. I've been reading more lately. I picked up this book. Chandra gave me this book. We Sold Our Souls. It's about
that
this.
That cover is really cool.
It's about this lady who was in a metal band in her 20s, and she, they had they almost made it, and then like the lead singer kind of cut the rest of the band out and went solo, and just fucked them all over. And the thing is that there's like weird occult shit going on, you know, and so she's trying to figure out what's going on and, basically get what's hers. You know, like I haven't gotten super far into it, but it seems like some of her content was stolen. So, you know.
Is this fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
Fiction? Okay.
Yeah, so for the audience, Paul held up the book, and it, like, the cover of it looks like a glamour shot from Rolling Stone. Like, it's really cool
the
looking.
font is very deliberately invoking Rolling Stone magazine.
As soon as you held that up, I only saw it for a split second. I went, damn, that looked like an album cover. And then you're like, yeah, it was a chick who was in a metal band. I was like, haha, that's why I did the thing. I was like, I was right. That
I know
sounds
her.
really
She
cool.
was in Amaranth, maybe.
Or Lacuna Coil or something. Yeah,
Lacuna
Kitty.
Coil.
My second question is: I'm curious if the author of that was inspired by Ghost at all.
I don't know a lot about the lore of Ghosts, so I can't speak too much about that.
Well, basically, it was at some point the guys who were the nameless ghouls were like, "Hey, we want more money and more credit." And Tobias Forge, who is Papa Emeritus and the guy who does most of the stuff on the actual albums, was like, "This is my band. You guys are my touring band. Like, get fucked." And he fired them all and got new people. In fact, one of the bands that I listened to, Priest, is like the producer / synth guy, used to be in Ghost, and now he's over wearing a mask in Priest. And
That's pretty cool. All the Priest shit you've sent has been pretty dope, actually. I love the VHS core video aesthetics they have.
Oh yeah, they're really quite good, and it's funny if you listen to their first EP. There's a couple songs that like have a couple little digs at like Tobias Forge and Ghost.
Like I have a little Dave Mustaine-esque hit at your old band.
Yeah.
Fun fact,
and,
EP stands for Equal Penetration.
I thought it was earhole penetration.
Maybe. I'm glad one person laughed. Thank you, Paul.
I was just over here nodding, trying to figure out what EPL would mean.
Don't worry about it. If you can't, got to ask, can't afford it.
A purple.
Wow, yeah, you're right.
An purple Eeple eater.
But yeah, I haven't gotten too deep into that one, so I can't like make it like a full on recommendation. Chandra really liked it, so it's worth checking out. But one that I finished that I really liked was a novel called Fantastic Land, and it's done kind of like World War Z, where it's a series of interviews, and basically it chronicles like a fictional event of like this massive hurricane hitting Florida, and there's this fake theme park called Fantastic Land that's competing with Disney that like about 300 to 400 of their workers got stranded there in the middle of it, and like relief aid didn't come for like over a month, you know. Ooh. And so things devolve into factionalism and violence like shockingly quickly, you know. Like it goes like full Lord of the Flies, because it's all a bunch of like, you know, late teens, early 20s people, you know, that just have no outlet, you know, because they're disconnected from society all of a sudden, you know, and they already have like pre-built like, well, I'm from this section, and you know, they just clash with each other, and it's really interesting. I really like that book. So
that does sound cool. It sounds like something I would like to check out.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I love that kind of setting. Just like, you know, you create a really plausible situation and you have it go to hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I have a book that I'm going to take with me on my vacation this coming up week to read like while I'm in the hotel at night. You know, if I'm not wanting to watch like hotel TV or whatever. But it's a Joey Diaz's biography or autobiography or whatever. Should be pretty funny. He's a pretty damn good comedian, or at least I like him. He's a storyteller.
Yeah.
He's the one where he was on Joe Rogan and he was like, "I used to do a lot of coke, Joe Rogan. It was bad. I would never do it in the house though." He goes, "I didn't want it around my daughter. I didn't want it around my wife. So I'd sit in my car. I'd do like a gram and a half of coke, Joe Rogan. I was a fucking savage. And then I'd go up and I'd give my daughter a kiss goodnight. I'd hug my wife and I'd go into the upstairs bathroom and I'd sit on the toilet and I'd jerk off staring out the window for hours, Joe Rogan. It was fucking terrible. I had to stop. I had to fucking quit." That's fucking dude. I love him so much though. I call him Uncle Joey because that's what he always called himself. He's like, "Listen to Uncle Joey." So he's Uncle Joey.
I just love that the sample joke you told didn't even come close to building to a punchline.
No, it's just a story he told. Like, it's not really like a joke. Like, he's just a storyteller.
I was jerking off. That's the story. Next.
I had a problem, Joe. I used to sit on the toilet and just stare out the window at people walking by, jerk off for hours.
Oh man.
But yeah, there's a few other books that I've been meaning to get to. I also have Stephen King, Needful Things, which I've heard is really quite good. But I haven't gotten around to it yet. I always find myself doing other things, so I just need to start like making time to sit down and read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that.
So what?
Nate, have you read Needful Things?
No.
Huh? I was gonna say you're definitely the Stephen King short story collection guy. I know.
Yeah, I haven't read that one.
It seems cool though. It seems like it's like about some kind of shop where you can buy what you most desire or something like that. I don't really know, but it's got an interesting premise. I bought it years ago and still haven't read it because I'm a piece of shit. Oh man. So anything else you've been up to, my good sir?
Honestly, not that much. You know, I've been playing a lot of Beatmania 2DX, but that is a very niche topic. So, you know, the specifics of that are not going to be interesting to the broader audience of this podcast.
Fair enough. Well, then, might I compliment you? Is that I'm trying to see on your shirt. Is that Among Us?
It looks like Dig Dug to me.
Yeah, it's Dig Dug.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought the top thing, I could only see a part of it. I thought it was bones, and I was like, oh, is that a dead Among Us dude?
Nah.
No, it's one of the guys from Dig Dug getting inflated.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got an inflation fetish shirt on.
Yeah. I was literally about to make that joke.
If only it was Sonic,
thank
I'd be
you.
into it, but okay.
I like back in the day, I don't remember what system, if it was my Game Boy or if it was my I think it was my Game Boy Advanced. I had some sort of Dig Dug game. I really enjoyed Dig Dug.
Guys, all I know, guys, is like Sonic Colors on the Switch is $40, whereas Sonic Frontiers is $60. This Sonic inflation has just really gotten out of control.
Google Sonic inflation. Find out more.
Don't Google
In
it.
fact, you know, when I was a kid, I found out that, you know, the Sonic restaurants were very heavily propped up by a genius CEO who made a bunch of rules about changing economy. And one of the main rules he came up with was how to deal with currency problems. And so if you Google Sonic inflation rule 34, you should be able to find...
I love taking a long walk.
Take a walk on the wild side.
Oh, man.
I am one of those nerds who has Google Play Pass or whatever. So, like, I can just download games and play. It's like Game Pass, but for games to play while I'm pooping. And
Poop Pass!
I found the other day that they had the original Sonic game on there. So I got that and installed that on my phone.
Nice.
Like, oh, that's cool. That's cute. Even though I could have emulated it, but, you know, whatever. All right.
Still, it's pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I also like that, like, I could just download Stardew Valley and play it on my phone if I wanted to. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It seems like a great phone game, honestly. I wish I had it on a mobile system instead of my computer.
I have it on Switch, and it feels like it's well made for a system like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm stupid and always play Switch docked. Like, I feel like if I played Switch as a mobile platform, I would enjoy it more.
What, Willie? Docking? I'm shocked.
Wow.
Got him.
So what you been up to, Willie? You're in a championship shirt. I'll let you go ahead and go.
Yeah, so, well, I think last podcast I mentioned that I was playing a couple different, pinball games because of Paul's suggestion, and I actually tried out The Getaway, another one that he loves, and, by God, that is a fun pinball game.
Is it?
So, The Getaway...
Oh,
go ahead.
No, I was going to ask if it was based on the movie, so... Go ahead.
No, it's not, actually.
No,
It's just... It is the sequel to a game called High Speed, and the idea is you're getting away from... Like, you're running from the cops, basically. You're just, like, a reckless driver who's doing some cool shit. And the whole time it's playing this MIDI version of Lagrange, which just really tunnels into your brain and makes it work.
Mm-hmm.
Lagrange. Nice.
How.
I also love that instead of a skill shot, it has, like, a starting tunnel where you shoot it and then you can, like, pop the ball into the there's like an upper flipper, and then you can just pop it through a loop over and over and over again as long as you can keep on hitting it. And there's just something super satisfying about getting that top loop going.
Yeah, for sure. I really like that one.
But I've just really enjoyed, like, the quest to get the multi-ball, because you have to, like, get the 3 traffic lights lit and then do the side loop, and it's just... It's a really good balance, I think. Like, it's just hard enough that it's hard, but you still feel like you're actually, you know, doing something when you get it done.
Yeah, it feels possible, but it doesn't feel, like, easy.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like I love Monster Bash, but I do feel like getting the Frankenstein multi-ball is way super easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always what I go for first on Monster Bash.
It's literally the first thing I understood about the game was, okay, if I keep shooting Frankenstein, then eventually there's a ramp, and if I shoot that, I get the multi-ball.
Yeah.
How is it that you're playing these pinball games again? I remember you mentioned it last episode, and I can't remember for the life of me, but I would like to try a couple out.
Yeah, I can even send you the files I have right now, but it's a program called Visual Pinball. I think it's also possible to use it for, like, virtual pinball emulation stations and stuff. But the one I use is Virtual Pinball 10, and it also has, like, a rollback version of Visual Pinball 9 for, like, older machines. So, like, people recreate the games. They basically put the art and the playfield and stuff in there, and then you download the actual ROM to the machine and put it all together. And it just emulates the physics of the game, and it's really, for the most part, it works really well. Like, I've actually even been playing really older games, like 70s ones like Gorgar lately.
Now,
like, Gorgar was the first talking pinball game.
It'd be like, nice balls.
Me have yo.
I hunger. Run, run.
Oh, your
God,
base
Sinistar was the shit.
shit.
I miss Sinistar. I should play some more Sinistar. That game was dope too.
Is it a 3D rendered game?
Yeah, like I could send you like a screenshot of what it does, but it's just it basically just they take the table and they recreate it in the game with 3D physics and all that.
Nice. I wasn't sure if it was 3D or if it was like a space pinball situation.
Yeah, I gotcha. No, it's basically, it uses 3D physics, 3D. It's very realistic. Like, there's even, like, nudge buttons on the keyboard that you can use to, like, hit the ball left, hit the ball right, hit the ball forward.
It's rendered kind of similarly to Pinball FX, right?
Yeah. It's fairly so. I think Pinball FX does a better job with the zoom and pan and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it still ends up being quite playable for most of the games I play.
Yeah, for sure.
Word up. Is there, like, so one last question about pinball. Are there, like, any like wrestling based tables?
Oh, that's a really fun question.
I know that I think it's a Royal Rumble table from like I want to say late 90s that Stern made.
Oh,
I'd have to look it up.
That could be cool.
I feel like there might be like a couple of WWF or E.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe
tables.
like a WrestleMania table or something.
Yeah, because it feels like all that shit in the 90s was like cross-merchandising with everything. So, like, it feels like that should have happened, right?
Yeah, it's like, as sure as I am that there's a KISS pinball table, there has to be.
There's a KISS pinball table. It's actually relatively recent, like 2010 or something like that.
Oh, is that a Stern box?
Yeah, it's one of the things that Stern does pretty consistently is make pinball tables for bands. So, they have a KISS table, they have a Rush table, they have a Led Zeppelin table, they have their most recent one is Foo Fighters. They like dipping into that well a lot.
I've heard good things about Foo Fighters too, and I think they have that at one of my local areas, Rec Bar. So I want to check that out.
Dude, the lead singer of Foo Fighters looks so much like the drummer for Nirvana. It's crazy.
It's fucking crazy. It is uncanny how similar they look.
It really is.
If you just shave the Foo Fighters guy, that's the drummer from Nirvana every time.
Right? And I also feel like that dude's the devil, but like...
But you'd have to put some red on him and maybe put him near Jack Black.
Yeah, or play him in Blackjack. You never know.
Oh. Well, 21 or 666. Let's go.
So what else you been up to, buddy?
That was it. I really just wanted to talk about pinball. Like, I'm happy with, my skin's looking better, my whole body's looking better, because I've been doing better with my diet and my exercise and all that, and that's been fantastic. So, I have nothing but positivity. Just getting out there, getting more time in nature, spending time in the forest, and walking around outside. It's good. It's great. Love it.
Hell yeah, buddy. I'm glad to hear that. Also, I knew there would be a WrestleMania table, and two, that thing looks fucking sweet.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen this one like out and about. I've seen the Royal Rumble one, and that's a much older one from Data East, who doesn't do pinball anymore.
But it's got the ring. There's tables and ladders. There's a Money in the Bank briefcase. That's badass, dude.
Oh, that WrestleMania table, yeah, in the chat. Really cool looking.
I hope that one of the things that you do triggers Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! My God, he's broken it in.
He is on the back glass, so he's definitely in there somewhere.
Word up.
And of course, it's got Undertaker on there because Undertaker had that famous streak where he went like, what was it, like 23 WrestleManias in a row without losing a match?
21.
21.
21
okay.
and 1 was when Brock beat him.
21 and 1. Yeah.
And speaking wrestlers, the cream always rises to the top, and I've got a question for you in the Macho Man Randy Savage shirt. How are you doing, brother? Keep your eyes. I see you got lust for Elizabeth.
You're an idiot, Dalton. Anyway. So, yeah, I had a good week, kind of. So, like, shortly after we recorded the last episode, I'm like, it's time to go on vacation. So I made sure I rushed through not rushed through, I played it very well, but Yakuza 4 so I could fully enjoy my vacation. But...
Oh yeah, Nate finished it so early. I was like shocked until I realized his schedule basically meant he had to do it. He's just a good fucking gamer, boy.
Yeah.
He played it so well, you guys. You don't even know.
Good. You don't even know.
Got it so fast.
But no, so it was a good time. Went on vacation over the last week or so, and it was a whole lot of fun. We went down to St. Augustine, Florida. So, fun fact: Paramount Plus just put out the new Knuckles TV show on Paramount Plus. So I downloaded that to watch while I was on the plane flying to and from Jacksonville. And I was surprised. It's really good, but it's also really weird. Like, Paul being the only one with a child right now is the only one I could think that might have watched it other than me.
I haven't gotten around to it yet.
But what I want to say about it is it's a very weird show because it's not like... Because I feel like the Sonic movies 1 and 2 are both very like well put together story-wise and just goes with it. Knuckles gets weird. So, like, the whole premise of the Knuckles show is Knuckles kind of becomes the mentor to the human character's sidekick character. So, like, the deputy sheriff of Green Hills, Montana, kind of becomes his mentor to teach him how to become a warrior so that he can win a bowling tournament in Reno, Nevada.
What? Hold on. I feel like I lost a lot of thoughts in the last, 10 words there. Where did bowling and Reno come from? I thought we were Sonic.
Yeah. So the whole premise of the show is Knuckles is teaching the sheriff deputy of Green Hills, Montana to become a warrior so he can win the the bowling tournament in Reno, Nevada.
That is...
Oh, so I heard all that right. It's just insane.
It's really insane. And it takes some really weird twists and turns. Like, I don't want to put too much pressure on it because this is saying a lot, but it gets weird as Pick of Destiny at times.
And now I'm intrigued.
And I was just like, all time I was watching the show, I was like, what am I watching? Because, I feel like the Sonic movies, Paul, I'm sure you've seen those by now.
Yeah,
they have a pretty coherent A to B story.
Yeah, there's just a magic hedgehog in the middle of it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
This one just gets really weird all the time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm here for it. And it has weird guest appearances too, like the guy that played the Hound from Game of Thrones is in it.
Oh shit!
Carrie Elwes is in it.
Dude, Carrie Elwes is so dope in Psych, by the way. Seriously, even if you don't end up watching Psych, just watch the ones he's in. His character is awesome.
Is this a cartoon or is this live action with animation?
It's live action with the CG Knuckles in it. And it looks like... I'm not an expert in CG and all stuff, but it looks just as good as the Sonic movies to me. Like, they put the actual effort and budget into it to make it look good.
Well, that's what's up. When you compared it to Pick of Destiny, bro, my brain immediately started picturing Knuckles eating shrooms.
It's not that weird.
Sasquatch.
It's not quite that weird. But, it takes some turns, and I'm like, how did we get here?
Yeah, I didn't know where you were going with that, but that wasn't even close to where I thought you were.
No, but it's really fun, and I'm just like, this is so bizarre. Like, I really enjoyed it a lot.
So bizarre.
I recommend it. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's kind of like one of those things that, like, you'll enjoy watching if you don't try to look for art.
Is it one of those things
You
where
fool, this is Knuckles the movie. What were you expecting?
like you're watching it and you're like, this is not made for my age range, but I appreciate it for what it is, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I kind of felt like I was definitely not the age range for it, but it got weird enough to where I was like, I'm not sure the age range for this is the age range for this right now.
It's just some Dadaist echidna nonsense.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I enjoy this, and I'm not sure why, but I'm going to recommend it on a podcast this week. So.
Yeah, you've honestly got me way more intrigued than I was about the movies. I still haven't seen the movies, but I want to watch this because it sounds buck wild.
Yeah, like,
Is it still Elba?
yeah, it's still Idris Elba playing this part, too.
Wow. Yeah, that's a budget, son. That's a budget.
Yeah, so like they did not skimp on this. They just decided to make a really weird TV show. Got Idris Elba in on it because I consider him a very serious actor for the most part.
So when are we going to get the gritty Shadow stuff?
I mean, Shadow's coming in Sonic movie 3.
Motherfucker. There we go.
Didn't they say Keanu's
They did
voicing
say
it?
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, that's right, Keanu is. That's right.
It's going to come in like, I am Shadow the Hedgehog.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because both of them have guns.
I
of
really
Matrix,
do want to
you
see
think of a room full of
Shadow
guns.
hold his gun like that weird like angle like John Wick does.
That'd be good.
Fucking, was it Family Guy? Where Stewie's holding the gun at Brian like this, like right side up, and Brian's like, you're a baby, you don't know what to do with that. He's like, oh yeah? What if I hold it like this? And he turns it sideways. Brian's like, whoa, buddy, I don't want any trouble.
I like how we had a visual indicator with an Xbox controller for that.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after we got off the plane watching Knuckles, which was in and itself an adventure, dude, I like the Jacksonville airport is well laid out, but it has some weird issues that I discovered while I was there. Like
Jacksonville itself.
we know Jacksonville's horrible, but like
Jacksonville is like AI generated city. It's the back rooms of the city.
kinda.
Fuck them.
Oh, man, but like, so we had pre-reserved our rental car and all that stuff, but no, we still ended up having to stand in a line for 2 hours to get our rental car, which completely blew our plans for pretty much that whole day. And I was like, this is just a chill vacation, so if we don't get to do some stuff till tomorrow, that's fine, because we have plenty of open time. So like, we're like, you know what, let's not stress about this, let's just because we had to drive from from Jacksonville to St. Augustine, which is like an hour drive around the time of day we got to leave, because it should have been 45 minutes, but we'll let it slide a little bit. But we got down there, we went to this really good restaurant the first night we were there called the Columbia Restaurant, which is right in the middle of downtown St. Augustine, and it's a Cuban restaurant, and it was fantastic. Like, Cuban food is so good. Like, if you get the chance to go to Cuban restaurants, do it every time.
Just some fried plantain.
Mm-hmm.
I know Nate loves his Cuban food because every time he comes up to Louisville, there's like a Cuban restaurant that he and his wife visit every single time, and he always takes pictures of the black rice, and every time I'm like, God damn, that looks tasty.
It's really good. Yeah, so then that night we kind of really didn't do anything. Just kind of chilled at the hotel after that. Like I said, we were just trying to have a really chill vacation. So then the next day we finally got to go do all the stuff we wanted to the first day, which was go get supplies for the hotel room, like all of our waters, Cokes, all that kind of stuff, food, snacks. And then just, honestly, we just ate at a lot of restaurants and went to the beach. Which is like all you need for me to be happy. Like, my favorite restaurant we go to every time we're down there, we went to twice this time. It's called it's called Beaches at Villano. And I had the grouper tacos one time and the mahi the other time. Just like,
yeah,
dude,
that's where you get bomb seafood. When you find a good place on the beach.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that place and then Beachcomber are both just chef's kiss, bro.
Yeah, it's like
I actually didn't know that mahi mahi was on the Gulf Coast. Like I thought that was a Pacific food.
fish swim, bro.
I guess they do. I just I know it's named Hawaiian, so
it has a bunch of different names. That particular fish, like some people call it the dolphin fish, the dolphin, mahi mahi. God, there's a couple more names for it that are slipping me, but fish has a lot of names. I think in the video game The Blue Marlin, they call it dolphin.
Yeah, but it's not dolphin the whale. It's dolphin like the fish.
Yeah. Which, if you play Blue Marlin, you start out in Florida and you can catch them there.
Yeah. I know at one point Nate held the world record for Florida percent.
Yep. Stupid game. But yeah.
Stupid speedrunning.
Yeah. But it was just such a good vacation. Like, we had such a good time just laying on the beach and all that kind of stuff. I got some really good, fun pictures. I have a massive sunburn on apparently the one part of my body I forgot to spray because... Don't forget, kids, your shorts ride up when you sit down. So, I have a nice thigh burn right now.
Yeah, get you a little bit of aloe, you'll be all right.
Yeah. It's not hurting too bad. I think it'll be probably pretty good by the end of the week. But then, the last thing was, before we took off, it's like, we could not find a good time for a flight from Jacksonville back to Nashville. So, it's just like, well, this flight leaves at 8 p.m., so we got to find a way to kill, like, the whole day. So we ended up just heading up into Jacksonville and went to the Jacksonville Zoo. And, like, shockingly, that is a very fun and good zoo. And I don't know if it was the day we went or whatever, but, like, all the animals were out and about just having a good time. Like, the elephants were roaming around their enclosure, eating some hay and all that kind of stuff. We saw all the animals we wanted to. Like, I got a picture of me with a Komodo dragon. And I got to feed a giraffe.
Did y'all ride the train?
We didn't ride the train. Like, it was just never at the stop when we were there. We were like, I don't need to ride a train.
That's fair.
But Nate sent us some really good herp pictures. Like, he seemed like he got to see some really good reptiles.
Yeah. Oh, the reptile room's super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. The guy who did the train last time I was there was really entertaining, and he reminded me that one of the elephants that's at that zoo was donated to that zoo by Michael Jackson.
Yep, I heard that while I was there too. That one of those was Michael Jackson's elephant.
Yeah,
but it's cool because like they let you feed a few of the animals, and there's like I didn't do the stingray petting, but I know they have a place where you can pet stingrays. But I did get to feed the giraffe, which I thought was really cool. So Kayla got a video of me feeding the giraffe, but yeah, just. Make time for yourself. Go do stuff outside of your hometown or wherever you are. Just like enjoy a trip away every once in a while. It'll do you good.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it amazing how big fucking giraffes are?
Yeah, dude, they're big.
Like you think about a giraffe and you're like, yeah, they're probably pretty big, and then you stand next to one.
Yeah, it's like a long horse, right?
Horse.
you stand next to one and you realize that the platform you're on is like 10 feet above the ground, and this thing is eye level with you. Like, sup? It's like, yeah, man.
And those giraffes were like, yeah, give me that food. I want it. Because they look so excited about it, too. And Paul, which would you rather eat? Long horse or long pig?
Oh, man.
Hey, Paul, why the long
pig? Yeah. So, needless to say, I had a really good vacation. Like, today, I've been home all day today. I got home last night, and I did not work today, because that's just like one more day to chill at home before I have to go back to work.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's always good.
I was really wondering what you were up to today, and I was hoping you would get some rest, because you seemed completely whamped.
Yeah, I was exhausted. I still am kind of exhausted, so I'm hoping I can just do an easy get caught up on emails and messages days tomorrow.
Yeah.
I did not do that, unfortunately, with my vacation coming up.
You know what? Dalton, it does kind of look like an Among Us when he sits exactly there. I could see it as an Among Us.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was looking at, is like that. And I was like, oh, he looks like he's chopped in half.
Yeah. I actually do see it. I see it completely now.
Because of the hotel bookings that I was looking at so I'm also going to be taking a trip to St. Augustine just a week after Nate did. I'm going by myself, and I'm just going to go chill. I got myself a room. I'm going to do some historic exploring and stuff.
Heck yeah.
And I might actually go to the zoo because last time I went to the zoo, I was with a girl and her 2 kids that were absolute hellions. We've discussed this on the show before. It was when I was being a nice guy around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get to enjoy myself at the zoo. I'd really like to go again and be able to like really explore and stuff. But the hotel that I wanted, if I wanted to go Saturday to Wednesday, would have cost me like $150 more than Sunday to Thursday. So I did Sunday to Thursday, which puts me coming home Thursday and then going back to work Friday.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun, but I'll be all right.
Yeah.
I believe in you, Dalton.
You staying close to the beach at all?
It is a very short drive to the beach. I believe the place that I'm at is like between the beach and downtown and over by like Ripley's, I believe.
Okay, yeah. It is sad, dude, because like we were driving like through St. Augustine. I've been there so many times now because that's just become our. Where do we want to go on vacation? I don't know. Let's just go to St. Augustine. Like, all right, sounds good. Like, I've been there so many times now that we're driving. They're like, oh yeah, you just turn right by the Dunkin' Donuts and we'll get over to where we're trying to go. It's like, why do I know this town so well now?
It's a cool.
Kind of reminds me of a joke that I heard where it was, I think I'm watching too much porn because I feel like I can correctly navigate my way through Miami without using Google Maps.
Benvenido, Ami. I'm gonna wipe up all my kami.
Jesus Christ. Will, you got 2 Jesuses out of that.
Yeah. That one was... Wow. Their faces, too. Like, viewer, my dear listener, that one was not an insincere Jesus. They were praying.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you had a good trip, man.
Oh, yeah, man. So what about you, Dalton? I think it just leaves you. What you been up to these last couple weeks?
Well, work's been kicking my dick in. Oh, yeah, let me go ahead and get this out of the way. So, Friday, pulled a muscle in my back and went ahead and just finished out the workday, like pushed through it. Woke up the next day and took me 10 minutes to sit up in bed.
Oof.
So I made my way over to my work phone and I let him know, hey, and I should have worded it this way. I should have said, I pulled a muscle in my back or I'm feeling down. I can't come in today. What I said was, I threw my back out yesterday at work. So I'm going to take today off and just rest it up and it should be okay. And by tomorrow, at least enough to walk if I stretch and ice it and stuff. And my manager's response to that text was, so you're not coming in today? My smart ass brain who was in pain was like, I don't know, motherfucker. Why don't you read the text I just sent you again? I didn't say that to him, but like that's what my brain is thinking. I'm like, why don't you just read the text I sent you again? That obviously says, hey, my back's hurt. I'm not coming in today. And I said, no, I would like to use 8 hours of my sick time for today to cover it, and I should be back tomorrow. And he says, 10-4, feel better. I'm like, all right. So, flash forward the work day. I don't get an email for what to do the next day like everybody else. I get an email from one of my other supervisors that says, meet me at Care Spot at 7 a.m. All right. What is Care Spot? So I Google it. It's like an emergency medical center type place. It also does stuff like you ever seen like a Quest?
Yep.
Yeah.
Labs or whatever. It's kind of a place like
diagnostics.
It's like that, but they also have doctors there that'll do checkups and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right. So I show up there at 7. And on the way to work, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, if I'm having to go see a doctor anyway for this, I'm going to ask him about like my wrist and why my wrist like randomly hurts and swells up on this bone right here. Or
I'd swell up on your bone.
Or my knees. Like why? Like I'm like, hey, check my knees out because I have two bad knees.
My knees, they're so smooth.
They're all bruised.
Look at them.
But I show up, I park in front of the front door, I message Steve, my supervisor, and I'm like, hey man, I'm here. And he writes me back, come over and park by me, and just starts flashing his headlights. He's over in the side parking lot. And I'm like, all right. So I go and I park by him. He tells me to get into his car. So I get into his car. Now I'm like, what are we doing? And he's like, you got to call. He's from New York. You got to call the nurse hotline. I had to call a nurse hotline and have them evaluate my injury over the phone, which was the dumbest thing I've ever done. Was explaining to this dude. He's like, how did you hurt your back? And here, listeners, this is how I hurt my back. This is how stupid sciatica is, ladies and gentlemen. I was doing a whole bunch of heavy lifting and was totally fine. Pulling pallets, totally fine. I went in the bathroom to take a shit and happened to cough while I was leaning down to pull my pants down and threw my fucking back out. So I'm explaining this to the nurse guy on the phone, who starts laughing, and I don't blame him because I'm laughing telling him because it's funny. Like, I was trying to do my business and hurt my back doing it. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. So long story short with that, he tells me, well, you sound like you're doing okay. I'm going to prescribe you self, not medication, but you know what I mean? Just like doing it yourself, self-treatment. And I'm not going to put you on light work and you're good to go back to work. All right. But in the midst of that conversation was somehow a back brace type thing came up. And I said, no, I wasn't wearing one. And I looked at my manager and I said, but I do have one in my Amazon cart that I'm looking at buying. And he says, nope, can't do it. They're not allowed. And immediately my brain's like, fucking what? We do heavy lifting for a living. What the fuck do you mean back braces aren't allowed? I can't figure it out. The only thing I can think of, and it was somebody in the Discord mentioned it and validated me because I was like, okay, so I'm not the only one that has that thought, is that it's gotta be an aesthetic thing where they don't want people to look at people who work for Coke and be like, oh man, that dude needs a back brace because of the work that they're making him do or something like that. Like, I feel like it's makes the company look bad. My grandfather today was like, well, maybe they think of it as if you need a back brace, you shouldn't be working at that job. And I'm like, I don't know. But to say that they're not allowed just struck me weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is odd.
Let's ignore all safety protocol.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not allowed. No follow-up questions.
Now, I will say that they're anal about your shoes. Your shoes have to be steel toe. If you wear non-steel toe shoes, you will get sent home. So they want you to protect your toes, but fuck your back, fuck your knees. It's so strange to me. So
yeah, that is odd.
What I'm probably going to do is buy that back brace and then wear it under my 2 shirts that I wear.
Fair enough.
Because actually this shirt that I'm wearing right now is one of my undershirts that I typically wear at work, but not today, obviously. But and then I put my uniform over it. And yeah, I figured, they wouldn't be able to see it under the 2 shirts. And I tuck the under one. So, I don't know. It's just very strange. So, that and some other things, work's just been stressing me out. I'm very glad to have 9 days off, and 5 of them are fully paid.
Nice.
That's sweet. But I'm gonna go chill in St. Augustine. But other things that I've been doing, today I bought Super Mega Baseball 4.
Oh, yeah.
And been having a great time with that so far. It's like this weird gameplay wise, this weird combo of like some simulation type stuff as far as how you control your teams and the money and all of that. But the actual gameplay itself is very arcadey, like old school baseball games. And then I don't know how to describe the art style. It's almost like one of the backyard games.
It feels like Switch avatars or something like that. Like, not quite used, but a little bit more advanced than that. But like, you were showing it to us, and Apollo immediately said it reminded him of Baseball Stars for the NES, which, yeah, I got that vibe too. Which I'm very grateful for, because Baseball Stars for the NES is one of my favorite video games.
I thought you were going to point out that Paul immediately noticed that everyone had a donk.
Oh, that is true. Everyone had
everybody had the juiciest ass. Like,
just hams behind their belt, dude.
Hey, running in bases, son.
Jeez.
So I've been messing with that. I've also been trying to find a new incremental numbers go up, make me feel good game. And stumbled upon, oh shit, hold on one second. What is it called? Incremental Epic Hero 2. So I've been messing around with that. I've got 11 of the achievements, put 26 hours into it, but that's letting it idle, like while I'm sleeping or doing other things. But yeah, I enjoy it. It's giving me the same kind of goodness feel that I got from like Cookie Clicker and NGU Idol. So been doing that a little bit. Also, let me go look under my what I've been playing recently. Lots of WWE 2K24. I figured out the sound editor, so I've started putting in custom songs, which just levels up the entrances for my creative people so much, dude. Like having not generic themes. It's fantastic. Also have some Nile the Nightmare in there, playing People to the Ring. It's been fun. Been messing around with the new update for Fallout 4 that they just decided to drop 2 days after. Is it 2 days after, like 2 days before Fallout London was supposed to come out, which was this big, massive mod for Fallout 4 that was a whole new game based in London. And they dropped this new Fallout update, which would have broken the entire thing. So they had to postpone releasing that mod, and people were not happy about it.
That feels intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone says, oh man, that seems a real coincidence.
What a
quote unquote.
dink.
A coinky
I mean,
dink.
Fallout 4 is bigger than ever because they have the TV show and all, which is
quite good.
Very Fallout 4 based and very well received.
It is quite
Dude,
good.
my dad was asking me about Fallout games because of that shit.
I've only seen like the first 3 episodes or so, but Nate, your boy is real good in that show.
Yeah, Walton Goggins is
Who's Nate's
hilarious,
boy?
dude.
Walton Goggins.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I love him in everything I see him in.
Unfortunately, I decided to watch Knuckles instead of Fallout, so fuck me, right?
Well, you can get around to it eventually, and
Yeah.
we'll chat about it. Speaking of Walton Goggins, I saw like a random little clip today from the show Justified, and it was a scene between him and Timothy Oliphant. And I'm like,
fuck, Timothy Oliphant's great. I love that dude.
and I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, I need to watch this show. I didn't realize both these dudes were in that show, and they're both fantastic actors. And the scene was just so good. You come here to help me find my balls.
I actually didn't realize that was Timothy Oliphant. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's the lead. It's a good show. I've watched maybe like 3 seasons of it. I really liked what I saw, but
Is it
I just got distracted.
Oh fuck! I know how that goes. I'm still needing to watch the second season of Konosuba.
Oh, I actually was getting distracted. I was thinking of Timothy Amundsen, which is a completely different guy.
No, Timothy Oliphant. One of the funniest fucking lines I've ever heard he dropped in. I thought, what was the movie called? Go. It was the movie about ecstasy. Like, remember there was like Train Spotting was about heroin. There was like a few other, but I think there was a movie about ecstasy. I think it was called Go. And Timothy Oliphant plays a drug dealer, and you get to hear one side of a conversation early in the movie, and then later on you get to hear the other side of the conversation on the phone. And
That's cool.
And that second part of the conversation is, well, the first part you hear, "What's up, man?" "Oh, that's weird. Seriously?" Or something along those lines. So the other part is Timothy Oliphant. The guy goes, "What's up, man?" Timothy Oliphant goes, "I'm just sitting here licking my own dick."
As you do.
It's just fucking crack me. So I use that from time to time. "What's up, man?" "Licking my dick. How are you?"
Well, I've been sitting here trying to lick my dick. I stick it in my fridge. I'm done. There's no more good there.
I've also been playing a little bit more Diablo 4. I made a seasoned character, a necromancer. I've been fooling around with that, but it still doesn't have its claws in me. There's something about it that just doesn't pull me in like Diablo 2 did.
Well, the fact that you said seasoned character, like, oh, I gotta get this character in there to play this one-player game. Like, I don't know. I don't like that FOMO vibe in a video game.
Yeah, and
No, I can understand that.
the season character kind of turned me off too, because it's like the free rewards and it's like a battle pass. You know what I mean? You can buy a battle pass, and it's like all the cool shit is locked behind money.
Yep.
And I'm just like,
awful.
Man, it's kind of a turnoff. It reminds me of in the WWE games, and you guys know I love them, but they have the My Faction mode,
right?
Which is basically like the Madden card game mode, where you open cards, get wrestlers, and then you can use the cards. But here's the thing, cards have limits on uses. So like you'll get a card and you'll be like, okay, you can use this for the next 5, you can use this card 5 times and then it goes away. Or you might have to recharge it or whatever. I don't know, I don't fuck with that mode.
Yeah, it's like the FIFA Ultimate Pack thing that they've been really pushing. Yeah.
But this year...
It's not even called FIFA. I think it's just called EAFC now, right?
Yeah, now it's just EAFC, Football Club. But this year... And they might have done this last year too, and I just didn't notice. But this year, there are character models and characters locked behind My Faction. You have to play My Faction and unlock them. Like one of them is Cody Rhodes, but he looks like an action figure, like with the joints and all of that, with the elbow joints and all that. Like that's really cool, but you can't unlock that unless you play through My Faction mode. And I'm like, man, I don't want to have to do daily towers and stuff. I want to just unlock some shit and play universe mode, which is what I always do.
Yeah.
Let me play my video game and have fun with the toy you've given me instead of telling me how I have to play with this toy.
Like, I appreciate back in the day when you would have to like, okay, I'm going to use Tekken for an example. You would play through the arcade mode with a character and then you would beat it and you would unlock a new character. Now, the My Faction mode does have towers that you can do, kind of like Mortal Kombat towers, but the characters and stuff aren't locked behind those. They're locked behind random packs. Like once you get the card, you unlock that, whatever. It's just fucking annoying. I don't like it. Games as a service blows. Just give us games that are fully fleshed out. Fucking, and the whole like stuff that's DLC that should just be in the game. It's just fucked.
Yeah, the newest Yakuza game, Infinite Wealth, New Game Plus was locked behind one of the deluxe editions. You know.
Yeah, that's a weird choice.
Just like, that's gross. I really don't like that.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, very very weird choice.
I don't like that at all.
Other than that, yeah, there's not really much going on. Just planning on going to St. Augustine, like you, basically what you said. I'm going to eat a bunch of food. I might lounge on the beach some, but I'm more interested in going and seeing historical stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm mostly interested in like just some good ass food and some cold beer because it's hot as fuck here right now.
Yeah, dude.
Oh god, yeah, it's May.
Nice
now.
on the beach.
May,
though.
and it was 90 degrees today. Like, dude, it's not even summer.
Nah.
It's too hot everywhere, man.
The rent is too damn high.
That fucking hole in the ozone just had to be there.
Fucking hoe in the
The
ozone.
ho-zone, if you will.
The
Hoe zone, Nathan. Thank you.
Shit.
Thank you, Nathan.
Word.
The ozone. That's why we worship the Godfather.
We all got to get on that hoe train one way or the other.
Hoe train. Oh, boys, we played a game. We played a game, and you know what that means? That means it's time for O-Dubs, and this game does have a Wikipedia page, unlike our last game. Yakuza 4, or Ryu ga Gotoku 4 Tensetsu wo Sugumono.
You pronounced 4 wrong.
Like a Dragon 4, Heir to the Legend.
Wouldn't it be Shi or Yon? Come on.
I don't remember. I remember Ichi, Ni, and San.
Yeah.
Nissan.
Well,
23.
so the number 4 is considered to be bad luck in a lot of Asian cultures because it sounds similar to the word for death. Kind of like 13 in English and European is considered bad luck. But like Shi sounds like the word for death.
She screams in silence. It is the fourth.
I got Sheen-dade.
The fourth main entry in the Like a Dragon series. The game was formally announced on July 24th of 2009. A promotional video was presented at the 2009 Tokyo Game Show. It is the sequel to Yakuza 3, who would have thought, and it was released on March 18th, 2010 in Japan after a playable demo was released on the Japanese PlayStation Store. Yakuza 4 was released in Europe and North America March 2011, and a sequel, Yakuza 5, in 2012. A remaster for the PlayStation 4 on January 17th, 2019 in Japan and worldwide in October as a part of the Yakuza Remastered collection. Versions for Windows and Xbox One were released in January of 2021. So these relatively recently came to PC. Because Hiroki Narimiya, I think I said that name right, retired from acting due to allegations of drug use, the role of Tanemura was recast with Toshiki Matsuda taking over.
That's what Lysandra was talking about. I was actually talking about her earlier, and she was like, so I guess you played it on PC, so you had the new Tanemura. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, this actually is not the only time that they've done that. I think it's the first Judgment game. There were some drug charges that went down on one of the major villains, one of the actor who played one of the major villains in the game, and they just fully replaced him. I think just before the game shipped, or maybe right after, I forget. But
that's really interesting.
Oh, the irony that the guy who voiced the cop got fired for doing drugs.
Right? I mean, he's not exactly a straight cop. He is a little
he's
bent,
a gay cop.
Just not as bent as the rest. We don't know that for sure. That being said, I pretty much gay ship every character in the series, so let's fucking go.
Maybe he's a furry. He's a pet's cop.
Oh, damn, that was a good one.
Oh, that was
nice.
A two clapper. Clap on. Clap off. The clapper. Yeah, so this game takes place one year after the events of Yakuza 3, and like the original game, most of the action takes place in Kamurocho, which is spelled with a K, Mikolov. He kept calling it Kamurocho. Unless that's just...
Oh, I came on your roadshow.
Came on your roadshow. Resembling Shinjuku's red light district of Kabukicho? Three locations have been added since Yakuza 3, though. A rooftop area stretching across a large portion of the town. We will talk about that. The back streets of Kamurocho, known as Rogirua, and a third area known as the Underground, which includes the city sewer parking lot and shopping arcades. The Underground area is also known as Kamochika, short for Kamurochika.
Oh, well, that
This is what it says.
Yeah, that got it.
Finally. Now we know. God, I wish I'd read this first.
Country Bear Hole has been crushed.
Country Bear Hole, take me air hole to the player hole. Sorry, I'll stop.
I'm going to start with our guest because that's polite, and you played this before us. So back when you first played Yakuza 4, how did you play it? What did you, or where, what system was it on? And what were your first thoughts?
I played it on the PS3 almost immediately after I played through Yakuza 3. I was just like, I'm all about these games, I didn't realize that I started with the bad one, so so going into 4 and seeing everything be much more well, I'm sure we'll get into it, but the plot does not feel quite nearly as meandering, but there's a lot going on, because there's 4 different stories that you're following that all kind of crash into each other, but yeah, I had a really good time with this one, and it was the thing that really kind of solidified that, I am a big fan of this franchise, 3, I was like, okay, I'm into this. I will play more of these, and then 4, I was like, oh, okay, I'm in some trouble here, and it took a while before 5 was available, like in the US. Like I don't think it ever got a physical release over here. I think it was like a digital release that they just kind of farted out onto the PlayStation Network, you know. But yeah, no, I had a really good time with this one. I don't remember if I answered all aspects of your question, but
good enough.
Oh no, yeah, pretty much. I was just asking. You know, you said PlayStation 3, so you played the original, and then you know your first impression, which was you were like, oh, okay, so yeah, you covered it.
Yeah.
So you're a very early adopter to the Yakuza series as far as the Western audience goes. Like, you didn't get into it for the first couple games, but you got into it before it was cool, basically. It's like getting into Persona for 3 instead of for 5, you know?
Yeah. I feel like that's a pretty good comparison there, actually. Yeah.
Damn, calling me out because I came in at 0 with Yakuza and Persona 5.
I don't care where you came.
Calling me out.
I'll always look it up.
Nate, what was your first impression of this, my good sir?
Yeah, so the first
was your pick.
Yeah, so the first impression was definitely interesting because, you know, you jump in as a playable character for the first time for me in the Yakuza series. It is not Kiryu Kazuma. You know, you fall into this guy named Shun Akiyama, and Akiyama immediately jumps out as this really cool character. He's kind of like the flashy, when you first meet him, you feel like this is a loan shark type kind of guy. You're going to be doing a bunch of loan sharking and stuff before you learn anything about his character. And the first thing I felt like getting your first fight with him, like, oh, thank God, this guy still feels good to fight with.
Fuck yeah.
He also exclusively throws kicks.
Yeah, which I thought was really neat too. It's like, so like that's one thing I noticed first too. Is like, okay, so I knew this game had 4 characters going in, and I knew that the last one was Kiryu. I was like, so this first dude's really fun to play as. Everything feels smooth and good. Oh no, I'm worried that this is going to be a turd sandwich where the first character and the last character are going to be a lot of fun to play as, but the middle section of this game is going to be a huge slog. So.
Fucking, I get that entirely. That was the exact same fear I had, dude. That's why I didn't want anyone to tell me anything about the middle character.
So playing through Akiyama, you get a little bit more, and like you're like, okay, I do like playing as this character. The one thing I'm having issues with also is, where's all the funny shit? Where's all the side stuff, side content that's ridiculous that really makes Yakuza? So those were kind of like my first little things that I noticed going in. But first impressions, I'm loving being back here, and this character is a lot of fun to play. And I like him. He's a good character.
All right, what about you, Will?
Yeah, I would say my first impression is very similar to Nate's. Like, Akiyama was very immediately intuitive. You understand how to play as him. He doesn't control so different from Kiryu that you feel, like, out of sorts. But on the other hand, it's like, man, I'm in Kamurocho and I'm no longer Kiryu. This feels weird. What the fuck is happening? And I'm hoping for the funny to happen, and it takes a while for the funny to show up.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about another thing, sorry to interrupt your section on this, but Akiyama, you know, it's like the difference between fighting as Akiyama and the difference in fighting as Kiryu is basically like in Yakuza 0, the difference in fighting as Kiryu's base stance and Majima's thug stance, you know? So it kind of feels like you're playing 2 very similar characters there.
Yeah, that's actually a really cool comparison. I really like that a lot. Because, yeah, Thug Stance does have more kicks. It leads in with longer attacks, but they both are basically very well-rounded stances. And I feel like Akiyama's fighting style is extremely well-rounded. And it makes it a really natural one to edge into the game with.
Yeah, I would say it feels just a little bit faster than base Kiryu. You know, like, it's not quite as fast as Rush Kiryu, but it feels a little bit more oriented towards speed and evasion.
He's not a Taekwondo dude, but if they explained him as being Taekwondo, I'd be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that just leaves me then. So I'll talk about like what really jumped out to me first wasn't even the fact that there was a new character or whatever. I knew that was going to be a thing. But the jump in quality from 3 to 4, like, I don't know if it's the remasters or if it was like this on the PS3 as well. Like the graphics, just the way people handled and the way they looked when they moved around Kiryu later on in the game no longer has the Vince McMahon strut that he had in 3, which I did miss. I did miss the Vince
fucking
strut.
Roblox Kiryu.
Come on, pal.
Goddamn Majima. We have to get revenge for her. He shit all over her head.
Oh, jeez.
So fucked up. That's pending litigation. I probably shouldn't joke about that. Not with me. Not with me. With Vince. Actually, you know what? Fuck him.
So anyway, we've been suing Dalton about this shit thing.
But yeah, just like, man, this game just looked better. It felt better.
Yeah.
And I was immediately drawn to Akiyama because I was like, who is this homeless fucker? And then he is like...
Yeah, he has a weird swag. His energy is so strange that you immediately want to know more about him, right?
So he reminds me of somebody who lived in this town, right? There was a guy who lived in Keystone. His last name was Watson. And it was like he started Watson Realty. He built the Watson Center, which is now like Santa Fe Community College Watson Center here in Keystone. Like, dude was a millionaire. And every time you'd see him, sweatpants, beat up old shirt, driving around his beat up old VW Bug from like the 80s. Like, you would never look at this dude and be like, oh, he could buy your whole family. Like, but he could. And I always respected that of him because I was like, I see people driving around with Lambos around here and I'm like, oh, how long you got that rented for? Like, there ain't no way. Like, oh, don't flaunt that shit around here because you're out in the sticks. Somebody's going to be like, phew, ting. Oh, you got a Lambo. You think you're cool, huh? Can't take that out in the mud. And that's just how people are out here. Nate, one day when you come to St. Augustine, I got to get you to drive to Keystone so you can just see the level of sticks.
I'm terrified to do that. I value my life.
I'll take you all around, dude. I'll take you to Walgreens. I'll take you to the places I worked and shit and be like, yeah, man, this is the grocery store.
Real
with the
cultural highlights.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. We could hit Taco Bell, the fine dining.
Finally.
I could take you to the politically incorrect gastro pub,
God,
otherwise known as Brooklyn Boys Pizzeria. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So with first thoughts out of the way, I don't really know how you guys want to handle this episode, though. I do quickly want to point out that this Wikipedia page for the plot has a little wiki window. It says, this section's plot summary may be too long or excessively detailed. Please help improve it by removing unnecessary details. And that was put there April 2021. So that tells you Yakuza fans are like, fuck you, we're not shortening this.
Yeah.
Somebody took the time to write out all that shit.
So I guess the thing I'll start off with saying is, like, this game is broken into 5 different sections, 5 parts. Each, the first 4 parts have 4 chapters each, and they're broken down by the respective characters you play as. So the first section is basically Shun Akiyama's story. The second part is Taiga Saejima, and then Masayoshi Tanimura, and then finally Kazuma Kiryu. And then the final section, part 5, is when all these guys finally get together to go fuck some shit up.
I'm so glad you looked up Tanimura's first name because I absolutely forgot.
Oh, yeah.
I knew the other ones. I could not have given you that if you gave me a million years.
Yeah. So, I don't know how you want to handle this, talking through the story, because there's a lot of story here. I did send a link that has some of the bullet points if you want to run through some of that, but, like, it's a lot.
I feel like the main character that really makes the story go is Lily-chan, so I feel like we should really just... If you explain Lily-chan's story, I think you'll end up getting the whole game's idea.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The first time that she appears that I remember is Akiyama runs Sky Finance.
Sky Finance.
Sky Finance.
Every time they're looking from outside the window, I'm always like reading the characters on the sky. I'm like, it says Sukai find. Oh yeah, of course it says that. Fuck.
So you kind of find out that he's basically a loan shark, but unlike normal loan sharks, he doesn't charge interest. He's like, I'm gonna give you 3 million yen, and you're gonna give me back 3 million yen. And then the lady that works with him is constantly pissed off. What was her name?
Hana-chan.
Hana. That's right, Hana-chan. Fucking girl comes back looking fine at the end of the game, but that's for later. She although she lost the donk.
Yeah, I was gonna say you didn't like her at first. Well, you don't.
She was
deserve
always
her at the
looking
end.
fine, buddy.
No.
Yeah,
I definitely did. But like,
if you don't like Hana-chan in her Act 1, you don't deserve her in her finale.
we'll get to that. But I lost my train of thought.
So Akiyama has.
She's always mad at.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
That's where you were going. You go there. Sorry.
I was saying she's always mad at him because he never gets paid back, and he's kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like he has apparently got stupid money. Get that stupid dumb money. But this woman comes walking in, and she is very meek. Is not the word that I'm looking for, but it's the one I'm going to use. Very quiet and reserved. She's very like not. She doesn't seem outgoing at all. And she kind of tells him that she needs money. And he's like, well, how much you need? And she's like, I'm going to need about 350. Yeah, thank you, Nate. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the slight smirk and head shake. She asked for, was it 100 million?
100 million.
100 billion yen.
100 billion?
So like literally $1 billion. Wait, no, it was million. It was million. You're right. 100 billion is a later number. My bad.
So 100 million yen.
It was 100 million yen. $1 million, essentially.
That is a lot of money. And he's like...
Many experts agree that 100 million yen is a lot of money.
Now, I remember... Well, quick sidebar. Do you guys remember the Eminem thing? Where it was like a Godzilla or Kaiju thing back in the day, and Eminem's was like, oh, if you find the such and such, you can win 1 million yen. And in the commercial, they had to say, you can win 1 million yen. And the girl goes, that's like $300,000.
I have no recollection
of
this.
No, it's not.
I don't know. It was like, I don't remember the exact, it was 30,000, something like that. It was some stupid amount that there was a big difference, but you make people think that they're winning 1 million yen. But correct me if I'm wrong. Akiyama's whole thing is sending people, they have to like prove themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he like makes them take kind of tests of character before he'll loan to them.
He basically wants to make sure that he's investing in someone that they'll use the money for something he finds interesting. So he gives them a test to find out whether they're like, you know, people with character at all, or if they're just some boring idiot who wants some money.
Now, a question to all of you. One of the guys that comes in that you have to do that kind of explains what's going on with that. You have to send him to go do things. Did he fail all three of them for everybody? Yes. Is that scripted?
He fails all of them.
Okay. I wasn't sure if maybe it was like a random chance that he might actually get one right.
No, he fails all of them, but then he becomes like a minor antagonist for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Nate.
Because I think after he fails all of that, he ends up hooking up with the other loan shark in town, and then that guy tries to basically like collaborate with him, but it's obvious that he's being used, and you end up having to just beat his ass. Because that fixes things in Yakuza games.
Of course, dude. That's how you fix everything. You just beat their ass into oblivion.
Solid ass whooping ends all stories.
Speaking of ass whoopings, gentlemen, did any of you notice anytime you stomped on someone's face when they were on the ground, what happened to their actual face? Like, was it the Ring when they would find people and their face was just like, oh, and like super stretched out? That's what they fucking looked like.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And to skip ahead just a slight little bit, when you're playing as Taiga, the scene where you go into the bathroom and the dude's squatting taking his shit and he turns and looks at Taiga and just slowly goes he opens his mouth so goddamn well. I was in tears laughing at that scene. Like, there is almost nothing funny about that section of the game, but that scene, fucking hysterical. And goddamn it, the fact that he was just like walks around dude taking a shit, tries to open the door. Tremendous. But Nate, you're typically better at running through story stuff than me. Do you want to take over? Because I am also very high.
All right.
It's been a long day.
It's going to be difficult because like I'm going to try to go through some of these because I really think you kind of have to go through it chapter by chapter because so much does happen. And then like you're like, wait, why does this matter halfway through the game if you weren't paying attention to everything that happened? So, like I said, it's broken into the 4 characters. The first is Shun Akiyama. So basically it starts off where you're hearing about the string of murders that takes place in Kamurocho, and you're coming in this as the owner of Sky Finance, Akiyama, and they go to help out their friend, Captain Arai, who's doing a turf dispute kind of thing going on. And like it comes into this clan called the Ueno Saiwa clan, and they're like having tense relationships with the Tojo clan, and so basically Arai goes to kind of tone this down. Akiyama ends up getting into a fight with a bunch of people because, you know, Yakuza. But at the end of the chapter, basically, for no good reason, at the end of the chapter, you see Arai puts a bullet through that captain's head in the back of the alley next to Sky Finance.
Yeah, the captain of the Ueno
Saiwa. Yeah. And the really interesting thing about this, too, is like this is the first time you see 2 of the main characters interact because Tanemura is actually the investigating officer that comes and shows up down there, tells like, hey, I think you should run.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that until he flashed back to it way later that was Tanemura.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, so that kind of like setting up the whole instance, like what's going on between the Tojo clan and the Ueno Saiwa, and what's going on with this guy, Arai, who is Akiyama's buddy.
The scene with the dude with the bullet in his head, right? Like, for one, I wasn't expecting on just running up on that, but how cool, calm, and collected Homeboy was. He just walks up, he's like, well, damn. Akiyama's like, what the fuck? And other homeboys just like, yeah, sucks. Just kind of just tilting his head and looking. That's another scene that like was just, it just made me laugh. I don't know if it should have, but I definitely laughed at that scene.
Just pieces out.
Yeah. Just all right, deuces.
Yeah. And so that kind of leads you into the next chapter, which is Akiyama's second chapter, where that woman, Lily, shows up at the Sky Finance asking for the $100 million yen loan. $yen, cool. So Akiyama agrees to do the loan, but makes Lily do one of his tests, like we were talking about. This one, he basically makes him work for her at his hostess club for free. But her job there, she has to make like 3 million yen in 3 days, I think, to pass the test.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because we were spoiled again with the Yakuza 0 Cabaret Club stuff, but fuck, I hate this version of the Cabaret Club. It's the same bullshit that was in the last few that we've played, and I hate to stroll around the club. I
feel like it was more responsive than the previous ones, but it still wasn't great. I didn't come back to do it again.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a game. You know, in the same sense that the Zero and Kiwami Cabaret Club do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. They're just so much better.
There was one thing that I wanted to touch on, because I don't know if it's going to come up in the summary, but like Akiyama, like the way that he has money, I thought was really interesting. You know, because he's actually... like he winds up homeless after some stuff in his past, and like he just happens to be on the street when when the Millennium Tower blew up.
Oh yeah,
in Yakuza 1, and money's just raining down on the street. And like he gets some seed money to kind of get himself back on his feet because he's actually a really talented banker, essentially.
Apparently he gets into day trading and then invests that money into like something and invests that into something and just keeps on doubling it until he's like actually incredibly wealthy, like way richer than you think even after you consider that.
Yeah, like giant fucking safe, money.
I thought that was a cool way to tie in the earlier game too, like because when I saw that I was like, oh shit, that's when Nishikiyama got blown the fuck up.
Yeah, that was the end of Kiwami 1.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm a little bit disappointed with Kiwami is that they didn't alter that cutscene, to include Akiyama, looking up at it, just as like one of the bystanders or something like that. I feel like that could have been done without a crazy amount of effort, like because obviously they weren't thinking of it when they did 1, but it seems like it's an easy enough thing to put in there.
Yeah, they even could have like done just like a dollar bill floating down and a dude leans down and picks it up and then it just shows him looking at it and then they cut to something else and just make it innocuous like that. But if you know who that is, you'd be like, hey, it's Akiyama.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy who does the thing.
That's him.
It's my kicky boy.
My kickman.
Yeah. Right. And so, back into the story part where we were, so they agree to do the loan, right? And while Lily makes preparation, Akiyama goes to meet with the other people from Aries business to see what's going on. Like, there's a guy there called Kido, who's one of his big contacts, who tells him that Aries hiding out since killing that guy. But they also let you know that the patriarch of his, like, little business that they're running was murdered, too. And the guy that...
Mm-hmm. A lot of that going around.
And the murdered dude like has all these signs of being seduced on his corpse, which is kind of interesting for later things to think about in the story. And so that's kind of that chapter. And then the next chapter shows a cutscene of the Tojo clan's 6th chairman, Daigo Dojima. We all remember him.
And I just recently bought Daigo Dojima 2. It's been pretty good.
What?
Dragon's Dogma joke.
That's a joke there.
What?
I think Dragon's Dogma, is that what you're getting at?
Oh, yeah, did not catch that at all. Okay. Where was it?
He meets the UNSCWA clan captain.
Oh, yeah. And so they're trying to stop a war because basically now we're looking at Arai murdered this guy from that's so hard for me to say. Ueno
Seiwa.
And so like he's now demanding either give us Arai's head or give us everything Majima owns, because it's got to be, they're your 2 captains, so right. Give us one thing or the other. And, obviously, Daigo Dojima does not like this, and so it kind of cuts away from that scene there. And meanwhile, like I said, Lily's doing the club, working at the club, making the 3 million yen in 3 days to pass, and so on and so forth from that chapter. Basically, at the end of that chapter, Akiyama and Lily go on a date because, of course, Akiyama ends up falling in love with this chick way too quick.
The feels. Been there, done that.
And so that leads into the last chapter for him, where Lily passes his test, and then Akiyama's like, you know what? If you tell me why you did everything you did, because he finds out, he kind of discovers that she's the one going around murdering people, and that she's been not the nicest girl, I guess. It's like, if you tell me what happens, you don't ever have to pay me back, just keep the money and go. And she was like, then I guess I'll be paying you back.
Dude, what a gangster fucking scene that was. Yeah. That girl's just like, so you're saying if I tell you who I am, really, then I don't have to pay you back? He's like, yes, absolutely. She says, well, then I will spend the rest of my life doing what I have to do to pay you back. And I was like, you bad bitch. That's right.
Yeah,
you keep that
really
shit a mystery.
Yeah. And so, like,
you absolute femme fatale.
Lily Chin.
Yeah. And so she turns down the offer and leaves, and you find out that Shibata is looking for her, and so is the Majima family. And so you finally have to end up beating up Majima's little goon, who was this really cool guy that you could immediately tell was part of the Majima family.
100%.
Yeah, he just has that vibe.
Minami.
The moment he said, "I'm Majima Clan," I was like, yeah,
so it's this guy named Minami.
Yeah, that's the only place you fit.
It's this guy named Minami, and you meet him at the club. Yeah, because he's singing karaoke at your Akiyama's cabaret club, looking for Lily. So he's just sitting there making a big scene, singing karaoke until you get there, and you start this big fight with him. I was like, this dude's legit. He's obviously Majima family. So you get past all that, and you finally learn from them that the Majima's wanting to protect Lily while Shibata's trying to get rid of her. Basically, Majima wants to protect her and make up for something that happened 25 years ago. Back then, and you also found out her real name was Yasuko Saejima at the end of the chapter. And that is the end of Akiyama's section of the game until the end.
All right, I can cover the second part if you want.
Please.
So the part 2 brings us into Taiga Saejima. And Taiga, man, how to describe him? He is a brick shit house.
Right, he is the fucking hossest of all hosts.
Like
it's one of those things that if you thought that Kiryu was like an absolute wall of like no emotion, like Taiga is like, oh, we found a way to turn that up to 11. You know, like
yeah. I feel like he's one of the, like, you ever shook hands with like an old man whose hands just seem to never stop growing and they just have massive fingers? Like, I feel like Taiga's fingers are like all like just dicks, just massive fucking just bricks for hands. And he hits you, his fist covers your whole face. Like, just ridiculous. Like, he's such a big beefy boy and I loved him so much. So in 1985,
but more importantly, for the people that do know the series, he was the guy in 1985 who was responsible for the hit that Majima couldn't be there for.
Yep. Mm-hmm. In fact, in 1985, Taiga Saejima was sentenced to death for assassinating 18 members of the Ueno Seiwa clan. 25 years later, he is transferred to the Okinawa Penitentiary No. 2, leading to an encounter with Go Hamazaki. Hamazaki requests Saejima's help for a prison break, and initially he refuses but changes his mind upon hearing that the hit caused his family to fall apart. And that Majima, with whom he was supposed to carry the hit out with, purposefully betrayed him, and the prison break ends with both men in the ocean. Now, the prison break found it a little tedious, not gonna lie, going around and finding the stuff in the prison yard.
Yeah. For anybody who's not, Hamazaki is the guy from 3 that wound up stabbing Kiryu in like the fake ending. You know.
Yeah. Walks up and gives
the Empire Strikes Back ass ending it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just wandering around looking for all those items just took longer than it needed to, I felt like. But the actual prison break scene itself was pretty badass.
Except for when you're fighting the guy with the baton, who I also feel like every fight against the dude with the police, the baton dragged out 1,000,000 trillion fucking years.
Yeah.
The low points of the game were fighting against people with batons.
But I personally, I really enjoyed the battle when you guys are going to escape and Saejima tells Hamazaki, you go first. I'm going to hold off this fucking 100 men, and then you sit there and just beat the shit out of like a ton of people, and then of course because Taijima's a brick shit Taiga is such a brick shit house, he kicks all their asses and then he climbs up to the top. He's about to fall and Hamazaki saves him. He's like, you waited for me, brother. And he's like, hi, I have the high ground, and he pulls him up.
And it was really sweet because Hamazaki. Alright, I'm just restarting the recording. Just continue from here.
So, the, after that, like, the cutscene, Hamazaki, I believe it is, gets shot. And he grabs homeboy that's got the thing, and he's like, "Rah!" And then they just, off the side of this giant penitentiary into the ocean where there are jagged rocks, and you assume that it probably didn't end well for either of them. So what does Saejima do? Hamazaki! And he dives into the fucking water. And I'm just like, but if he hits any of the rocks, they're just going to shatter.
Yeah, right?
So I know he would be all right. And then apparently he swims across the ocean and just ends up in Okinawa, washed up on the shore outside of a familiar place from 3.
Right outside the Morning Glory Orphanage.
Thank you. I couldn't remember the name. But yes, so that leads into chapter 2 where Hamazaki has told him to seek out Kiryu in some of the final scenes.
Yeah. But Kiryu's always getting involved in Yakuza bullshit. He'll help. You know?
Yeah. It's like just when they think I'm out, they pull me back in. He's the definition of that. Kiryu is unwilling to help Saejima in his quest for revenge, but after a fight where they just beat the shit out of each other, which I would pay to see those two fight, and learning more about the kind of person that Saejima is, Kiryu gives him money and clothes to travel to Kamurocho.
How'd y'all feel about fighting Kiryu, by the way?
It hurt me, but it was a fun fight.
Yeah, I liked it, honestly, because like it's just like, even though you win the fight, in the end you don't win the fight. It's like big boss syndrome where you fight the guy, you win the fight, and then, haha, plot-wise, you lost this fight, jackass.
Yep.
Yeah, the cutscene suddenly undercuts all the progress you made.
I mean, to be fair, you were like all wrapped up in bandages. Whether you hit him a million times or not, you were still gonna be fucking basically cooked. You just washed up from the ocean.
So all of that pretty much encompasses Saejima's second chapter. It isn't super long. And then after arriving in Tokyo, Saejima searches for leads about his old boss. He encounters Kido, who directs him to the Florist of Sai in Purgatory, who we know very well by this point. The florist agrees to provide answers, but only if Saejima wins a death match in the Coliseum. Immediately, I'm like, oh, we're going GCW up in this bitch. But no, it was like a death match. They beat each other to death. And I gotta say, plot-wise, Saejima wins but refuses to kill his opponent, which actually passes the test that he was given. I somewhat saw that coming, but at the same time, I was like, I also think if Saejima needs to kill somebody, I think he would.
Yeah.
So I was happily surprised that he denied.
The fact that he wouldn't kill anyone for no reason, the fact that he wouldn't just play their game, that's what was cool about him.
He wasn't satisfying a bloodthirst. He
was willing to kill, but he wasn't, willing to kill for someone else's gain.
Yeah.
He would do anything for love, but he won't do that.
True.
Saejima trying to work his way into the never killed anyone family, like Kiryu.
I mean,
oh yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
The florist states that Sasai was forced to go into hiding after the Ueno Siwa ordered his death.
God, we pronounce that differently every single time.
It's hard. It's
Ueno Siwa. Ueno Siwa.
It's not easy for us Westerners. Might as well call it JoJo Siwa at this point. I mean,
JoJo Siwa's Bizarre Adventure. Let's go.
By the present, he has become catatonic, but Sasai briefly take 2. Sasai briefly regains his faculties and recognizes Saejima.
Also, man, now that I think about it, it is a little bit weird that plot that one never comes back in this game. Sasai is
not really. No.
You see mute Sasai beaten half to death, and then that's it. That's the last you see of Sasai and the Sasai clan.
Yeah.
This next chapter, though, I'm gonna have to ask at one point because I accidentally skipped a cutscene, and I was very upset with myself. But there is one of the most badass scenes because. Well, we haven't touched on, but we will get to because I do have thoughts, and I know you guys do too. There is a lot of sections with Saejima where you have to avoid the police, so you're having to go underground or go on the rooftops to get through the town and all that. But there is a part where you have to go and you meet up with Majima. He's in the Millennium Tower, so you go there, and he's like, "Let's take a walk," and you guys go outside, and the streets are fucking empty, and they are just lined with Majima's goons. And I am like, what a fucking badass Majima has become. Like, his family has grown so big, and they just go walking all the way to the batting center. And this is where I paused the game to go do something. And when I came back, I hit A instead of unpausing it, just not thinking about it, and it skipped the fucking cutscene. And I need to know what happened, because it skips to all of a sudden they're standing in the batting center and Majima's like, let's fucking go. And then it's a fight with Majima. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
What happens is exactly what you think. Majima's like, well, maybe I betrayed you 25 years ago. Maybe we should fight. And then you fight.
Yeah. It's basically Majima doing Majima stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not giving you any info without you beating the shit out of me first, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how I talk, you know.
Fair enough.
This is the only way that I have real conversations.
Welcome to the foreplay zone.
This is the only way I can feel intimacy with my fellow man.
Yeah, I will say that that lining the streets with the goons thing reminded me a lot of the in Yakuza 0, where the guy waves his hand and the lights go out for just a little bit. Like it felt a lot like that, where it's that, you know, non-direct display of power, if that makes any sense, you know, and it's like on such a scale that you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, like.
That's interesting, because to me, what it reminded me of was when Majima surrounds you with all of his shit in Kiwami 2. Like, when you finally get to the construction site, and then fucking all the goons are just there.
Yeah. So Majima ends up telling Saejima that on the day of the hit, Shibata called Majima to stop him from participating in the hit. And when Majima refused, he had his eye gouged out as punishment. And after the hit, Shibata convinced the Tojo higher-ups that Sasai organized the hit to spark a war between the Tojo and the Jojo Siwa for personal gain, leading to the Sasai family dissolution and Sasai's exile.
Yeah. So they basically got hosed all the way around. So, like, Saijima's been sitting there molting in prison for 25 years thinking his brother betrayed him, when Majima wanted to be with him 100% of the time.
Now, go ahead.
No, go.
Correct me if I'm wrong. 0 takes place after the hit, right?
Yes. There are flashbacks to the hit in the game.
Okay, that's right. Because I'm like, I remember seeing Majima with both his eyes at some point in a cutscene. But, okay.
Yeah, so, like, basically that, like, this flashes back to right before the time of 0 when that hit would happen. Like, and it really just goes to show, like, God, they really thought 0 through so well.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I was just kind of agreeing.
Let's talk about the scene. The cut scene where it shows Taiga doing the hit. Like, what a fucking badass. Like, dude just comes in, got like a fucking pistol between his teeth, 2 pistols, or a pistol in each hand, got pistols in his hips. I'm like, bro is ready to go. And he walks up in that bitch like a hoss and murders everyone.
Unloads on everybody.
Yeah. That's some real directed by Quentin Tarantino shit right there.
Yeah, straight out of Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Like, next thing he was going to do is tie a dude up and cut his ear off.
I mean, he tied a dude up and gouged his eye out. I mean, so...
Fair enough. So, who wants to cover part 3? Tanemura. Anybody? You just want one of us to
I did not realize we were doing this take turns thing, but I can go ahead and look up Tanemura's plot. Nate, you said it to the group, right?
I got it if you want me to do it.
Yeah, go ahead then.
So, Masayoshi Tanemura, he's with the community safety, and he hears about Yasuko Saejima, Lily from the previous things. He's been trying to track her down, and she's been found in Kamurocho. So his dad was in charge of investigating that multiple murder that Saejima went down for, but his dad was murdered. You know, so he's like, I need to meet with Yasuko Saejima. That was the last thing that he wrote in like his notes for the case, and so Tanemura's like, I need to find this. So he's had like he's been trying to find her for a very long time.
Yeah, let me flip that to explain why he's looking for her. Is basically, Tanemura's dad was investigating this case, and he may have found something bigger, but the moment it all went down, basically he was killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Tanimura, he learns that the whole murdering the Unasewa officer at the beginning of the game, that was like arranged by Katsuragi and Shibata, for their own gain. But then Shibata is, you've outlived your usefulness, so he gets got. So then, Yasuko, she had been killing Shibata's people as part of a deal that Katsuragi had made with her. Yeah. Basically, to prove that Taiga was innocent. So, she was given the choice of either killing somebody or paying 100 million yen. So that's where that comes in, But Katsuragi just kept making her kill more people. So, Tanimura, he wants to know more about the Unasewa hit. He offers to take the money, meet Katsuragi, for her, and in the meeting, Katsuragi reveals that Tanimura's father learned the hit was a setup to make Katsuragi and Shibata climb the ranks, and that he was the real killer of those 18 people, because you see all of Saijima's bullets were actually rubber bullets. So he didn't actually kill anybody. He's another member of the Never Killed Anyone clan.
It kind of falls apart plot-wise there a little bit, because it's absolutely ridiculous that all those people would just magically pass out from being shot by rubber bullets. And
well, I mean, it is explained that they do a lot of, physical pain to them or whatever. But still, it is shocking that they woke up in the correct order.
Yeah. Well, they all got shot in that order, so but no, I will take a sidebar to say that is pretty commonly thought of as the dumbest twist in the series.
Even when it happened, I was like, why are you retconning Yakuza 0? I know Yakuza 0 happens later in the actual, writing of the series, but this still feels like you're fucking it up.
And the funny thing to me is, any other series, I feel like this would be massively jumping the shark. But for Yakuza, I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'll go with this.
There's something about the level of melodrama that they do that you can get away with really ridiculous plot turns like this.
Yeah.
I don't know, they're so serious and po-faced about it that they can just do something that would be patently silly if you're just watching a movie or whatever with it. There's an alchemy to it that I genuinely am unsure of how it works, but yeah, for sure. Just the whole, the rubber bullets twist, man. You'll see that come up a lot in memes if you hang around in Yakuza spaces. But yeah, so yeah, that meeting was a trap, but Detective Sugiyuchi saves Tanimura. So, we find out that the police were also involved in the Unasewa plot. So Tanimura is kind of on his own. He's trying to figure things out. He looks through the police archives for the case file on the Unasewa hit, and Tanimura learns that his father's partner in the investigation was Detective Sugiyuchi. So he never knew that. Basically, he's been on the sidelines. Also been
giving him a shitty, rough time this whole time.
Yeah. He's just kind of. He's been there the whole time, just being a real hard ass and, just kind of making things more difficult for everybody. But in any case, so, Tanimura, he goes to Akiyama to return the money that Yasuko borrowed, and, basically saying that the other Unasewa member, Mishima, the one that didn't get killed at the beginning, will testify against Katsuragi if he's given police protection. So, in any case, so Mishima claims that Katsuragi instructed him to cause trouble that night when he shot dead. So basically, they were told to cause a scene to basically provoke Arai killing one of them, so that this whole chain of events would start, we find out that Sugiyuchi is Katsuragi's mole in the police, and then Tanimura chases after Sugiyuchi. After a violent fistfight, Sugiyuchi confesses that he was the murderer of Tanimura's father.
The favorite part for me about that was, like, you fight him for a minute, then he jumps on a jet ski and just, like, runs away on the jet ski. And so you have this random jet ski chase scene in the middle of this fight. And it reminded me... It reminded me a lot of the helicopter scenes from Yakuza.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, man.
Was that part supposed to be difficult? Because I was just riding behind the dude, just mashing shoot. And
it couldn't have been meant to be difficult because I was literally just like up his asshole the whole time and just like bang, 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 ram, bang, 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 ram.
Okay, so I'm not the only... Yeah, I was just like, all right, so there's no
skill involved.
I think what happened next was supposed to be the difficult part. Like, emotion.
Yeah.
It was supposed to lead into emotional difficulty rather than video game difficulty.
Emotional damage.
Oh, man. But, yeah, so their plan was found out by the deputy commissioner of the police through finding the inconsistencies in Sugiyuchi's Unasewa report. And so he kind of takes control of them in order to advance his career. He blackmails them. So just as Sugiyuchi agrees to testify against the commissioner, he's assassinated. A lot of sudden assassinations, in this one.
If you watched the camera angles on that scene and didn't think Sugiyuchi was gonna get assassinated, you haven't been playing this fucking series. Because the moment he just was like, oh, this is off of my chest. Finally, I have revealed my... I'm like, this dude's fucking dead.
Yeah.
He really he should have taken the opportunity to say that he was like 3 days from retirement.
Right?
Classic retirement.
And that leads into the fourth chapter, which is Kiryu.
Well, we're back to Kiryu.
All right, I guess I'll take Kiryu then. Okay, so when you start with Kiryu, you actually don't start with Kiryu. You actually start with Hamazaki, who was the other part of
Saijima's
breakout. He actually also washes up on your shore right outside of Morning Glory Orphanage just a couple of days after Saijima did. So
the currents are just kind of doing that.
Well, I mean, it is
all currents lead back to Morning Glory.
I mean, it is just offshore on Okinawa, so it isn't the stupidest thing that happens in this game. It is a little funny though. But he shows up and he's like, hey, so here's this thing that I brought you, which is a ledger that shows that all the money from Yakuza 0 or whatever was involved in a different plot.
Oh, man.
And also he really... Haruka was not happy to see him. Haruka hates his ass. Because, he did
I wonder why.
He did sort of fucking try to murder you in front of her at the end of the last game. So, she ain't a big fan of him. But then, you all go to do the thing or whatever. You run into Yasuko and then fucking he hangs back to help and he obviously gets his comeuppance. He fucking becomes a good guy and dies the moment he does something right. Yeah. Rip Hamazaki. He dies. He's fucking dead. Whatever. Anyway. Then you go to Kamurocho, and Kiryu tries to visit Majima, but Majima's under arrest? What the fuck? And then he's like, hey, so, fucking... what's up, my delicious boyfriend? Hey, so Daigo has betrayed you, everyone's betraying you, literally everything is betrayal, nothing is good.
I was happy we did get that little bit between Kiryu and Majima, so I got my Kiryu-chan.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that the whole time. I love
Kiryu-chan endorphins.
Yes.
Yeah, I needed it. I am a little sad we didn't get as much of it as I would have liked, but guess what? I can always go back and play Kiwami 1 and get Majima everywhere. But yeah, so then that happens, and then fucking... frankly, the rest of it's just police shit. So if anyone wants to explain the rest of the plot, you can go ahead.
Well, the Kiryu chapters, I think it was Nate that first commented on this. They blow by. They are not
It's
long.
90% cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, everything from like Act 3 on is pretty much all cutscenes.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So like, basically the way this kind of goes down is... let me brain through this real quick. So you visit Majima, and after that, basically find out that, Daigo's making mistakes. Munakata's doing some shady stuff. Arie's still out there being a shady guy. Like, everybody you've met in the course of this game is all these characters is shady. So, at one point, you find out, like, you're trying to get to the florist yourself, right? And you see Tanemura and Akiyama are escorting...
Yasuko, yeah,
so
that's
you
right.
have to be as Kiryu beat the crap out of both of them at the same time.
Which I kind of felt like was like a penance for having to beat the shit out of Kiryu as Saijima earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying, though, Saijima beat Kiryu, and Kiryu beat those two, which tells you that those two stand no chance against Saijima.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he would just rip their titties off.
Yeah. Ultimate nipple twisters.
He got the purplest of nurples.
Yeah, and so they sent Yasuko ahead to meet the florist while you're fighting her. So you do win that fight, but then when you finally get down to Purgatory with the florist, but those two now being your buddy, essentially the florist says that Kido, your buddy from before, had joined forces with Katsuragi, stole Akiyama's money, and that both of the Saijimas have been captured. So both the Saijimas are now kidnapped by old dude who sucks. So to get the Saijimas back, Kiryu has a meeting with Katsuragi where he agrees to hand over the ledger. So they do this on top of Kamurocho Hills. But Katsuragi orders Kido to kill Kiryu. Kiryu Kido betrays Katsuragi in favor of Arai, and then Arai shoots Kido too. So it's just like...
But then he betrayed that too, because he actually didn't kill
it's betrayal after betrayal. So...
That shit's just buck fucking wild. I love it.
There's so many, like, double, triple, quadruple crosses going on in this game.
The Yakuza ass shit, which is why I'm so glad it happened on top of Millennium Tower, because that's how you know this shit's Yakuza ass shit.
So you free the Saijimas, and basically it's time to go to the end of this game, the big reveal, we'll find everything out. So, unfortunately, at the end of that chapter, Yasuko jumps in front of a bullet in front of Taiga Saijima, and so Yasuko ends up dying there in place of Saijima. Happy to do it to save her brother, of course.
And, of course, before she goes out, she does get a nice kill that is very important, because her brother couldn't have killed anyone. Her brother is... That's the funniest thing. It's like, she acts like this blushing bride, and her brother's like the nastiest boy you ever seen, but ultimately, she killed so he could remain innocent.
Yeah, because he's just a sweet little birthday boy.
He's just a nice little guy. He's my boy.
Just a little guy. He's just a little birthday boy.
So, shoutouts to Yakuza.fandom.com for writing up all of these things that I'm reading off. Basically, I'm just going to read part 5, which is the end of the game, word for word for what they have written down here. After having lost his purpose, Saijima is spurred back into action by news of Hamazaki's death. The quartet of Akiyama, Saijima, Tanemura, and Kiryu goes to the Millennium Tower to defeat their adversaries using Akiyama's reclaimed money as bait. Akiyama halts Arai's ambition, Saijima tests Kido, Kiryu corrects Daigo's course of action, and the final boss fight, Tanemura serves justice to Munakata. With Date having exposed Munakata's corruption, the deputy commissioner commits suicide. Afterwards, Daigo, a freed Majima, and Kiryu bear witness to the inauguration of the Saijima family.
Saijima Gumi! I was so fucking happy to see that Saijima Gumi is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was stoked to see that. Also, that scene where, dude, when I saw that pistol lay on the ground and he looked over at it, I went, oh, here we go. And he just immediately leaned over there because I pictured Harikari. Like you have lost your
honor, your face.
Honor. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That was the word I was looking for. You were no longer honorable, so you just bam. And I was like, oh shit. Well, he went out the samurai way.
So one of my favorite parts in that last scene of the game is like you're getting ready. All the bad guys are there at once. All the good guys are there at once. Pans over to Akiyama, who's just like, "Okay, everyone pick an ass to kick."
I took a screenshot of it to send you guys because I loved that line so fucking much.
Oh man, it's a good moment. It really just fucking works.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, the one that was hardest for me was I didn't want to fight Daigo. Like, I'm like, Daigo, I love you, dude. I'm sorry you're here.
Can we all agree that final boss fight fucking sucked? The Tanemura fighting
the one where he
Minikata.
played as Tanemura.
Yeah.
It was just like a bunch of goons and a guy with a gun. Fighting people with guns in these games suck. It was very reminiscent of the final boss fight in Kiwami 1. And I was naughty about it. But, overall, it was okay. So that's the story of the game, and I'm sticking to it.
Anyway, this game's 5 out of 5. Or 5 out of 10.
What?
I wish we would have played more other games. I'm just fucking with you.
Okay.
I think
Nate
it is
made
time
this
for
face
ratings.
like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
Yeah, so what other thoughts? Because that's the whole story. What other thoughts do you guys have about the game? Because we've kind of talked through all the story now, and I know there's other pieces you might want to touch on before we run into ratings.
I didn't do a single mini game that I can remember unless the story required it.
Yeah, you didn't get a Chivo that me and Nate got, and I was, shocked by that fact.
I don't even think I did a UFO catcher in this one. I think I played a little bit of an arcade game, like whichever one was. I was upset because they had Virtua Fighter 5
Yeah,
in the arcades, but they weren't playable.
yeah, they had the
Damn,
handicaps for it, but you couldn't.
You gotta
actually
wait.
play it.
Yeah.
You gotta wait till a later Yakuza game that has it in
I'll
there.
say one of my biggest complaints about this game, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, is like the lack of general levity that the other Yakuza games do a really good job of putting out. Like, you have to go out of your way in order to do side quests in this game, in order to do mini games or anything.
Yeah.
Like, in the other games, I feel like it does a better job of putting things right in front of you to kind of like interrupt your flow. Like, I only did karaoke once while I played this game because it's just like this game didn't push the goofy in front of you as much as the other games in the series does. It's not to say it doesn't exist.
Not only
You just
that,
have
but-
to go out of your way to find it.
Not only that, but I feel like it pushes you into changing characters so quickly that, you don't feel like you need to complete shit as that character. You feel like advancing the story. You feel like an asshole if you're like, well, what does Akiyama need to do next? Because, the shit that's happening is so much more intense and important.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that this one is a lot, it's weird to say because they're all pretty intense plots, but I feel like 4 is, one of the darkest ones. Everything feels a lot heavier,
And not just that, it feels like you're just straight on an iced cappuccino bender the whole time. You're just straight through one point to the next.
Yeah.
That being said, there was a quest to hunt down a dude who was stealing panties
Yeah.
in his underwear, and then you fuck him up, and then there was a lot of quick time events because that was just the time of gaming when this came out.
The style at the time.
Yeah, but that whole thing where you fuck him up and then he falls and he's like, "Meh," as he's falling, his panties going everywhere. That was pretty funny. But those moments were few and far between.
Yeah. And that one was one that was actually put in front of me because that was one of the revelations, where you were doing the photo kind of thing, like you did from 3. But most of them were not put in front of you like that one was.
No, yeah.
Yeah, you had to subscribe to Mac's newsletter, and he would be like, hey, there's stuff going on around this area. And, if you looked around that area, you could find, an NPC that was behaving oddly, and then you'd start, a little cutscene, and they'd do something
I will
weird.
happily say that I was very wrong about one of the points that I was concerned with, that I thought it was going to be a shit sandwich, where it was going to be really boring and bad fighting in the middle. Because, I thought every character did a really good job of controlling differently and being interesting. I thought that the most interesting mechanic actually belonged to Tanemura, because he had the ability to parry attacks, and then I really liked the way you went into heat actions with him. They were basically combo enders instead of specific things. You would just do a basic combo followed by the Y button, and it would go right into a heat action with him. So he just felt very fluid and easy to fight with.
I love that you love that mechanic. My favorite new character mechanic of this game was absolutely the mid-combo held attacks for Saijima. Like, I love that you could just rev up a big-ass attack and turn around and hit someone else behind you in the middle of a combo. Like, that shit ruled.
Playing as Tanemura made me interested in what Judgment's going to be like. Being a cop or a detective or whatever it is in Kamurocho. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, I will say, having played both of the Judgment games, Yagami, I think his name is from that, plays a lot differently than Kiryu. You know, like he feels a lot more fluid, a lot more light. You know, and you know, he can switch between like a heavy and or not heavy, but more like a crowd control versus focused style. You know, so I'm you'll definitely see some of that more flow. You know, when you're playing Judgment, I would say.
Well, I think that's about all I have to say about it. If anybody else got anything that jumps out.
Who did you like who of the new characters, who did you guys like most?
Overall, I'm going to say Akiyama.
I think also Akiyama.
Akiyama has the most juice. Like, I would play it, if you ask me which one would I play a spin-off game of, it would be Akiyama. That being said, I really enjoyed playing as Saijima the most.
Yeah, it's like I feel like with this one, RGG was really trying to push Akiyama as the new series lead. You know, I feel like his plot and everything kind of tied into the broader system of Kamurocho the most. You could see how there would be more games like revolving around him. Yeah, you know, and they just couldn't quite pull that trigger, you know, and, you know, they kept coming back to Kiryu, you know.
Kiryu's hard to replace, I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Kiryu really is an iconic character, and so
literally changed the way the video game is fucking played to replace Kiryu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, you know, I feel for them because I could see them, especially kind of looking at it from the broader perspective. Now that I'm not playing them, you know, just like more or less as they're coming out. Like I have the broader picture where it's like, oh, they were trying to, you know, shake things up and find a way to, you know, either downplay Kiryu or maybe move the series away from him entirely, you know, and they just never quite got there. But Akiyama and Saijima, you know, are pretty big presences in the series moving forward. You know, like they come up a lot, especially Saijima. Tanemura, I don't think gets any mentions aside from like there's a section in the newest one where Kiryu's doing a lot of reminiscing, you know, and so, you know, like Tanemura comes up there, and there's like that one character whose name I can't remember from 5, who basically doesn't matter outside of that.
To be fair, I do feel like Tanemura's story wrapped up at the end of this game. Like he can happily go off about his life because knowing that he finished his father's legacy and figured out what happened to his father and was able to right the wrong. So that time,
avenge his death, essentially.
You know, so I can see why they've retired him there. But the other two, I feel like there's still a lot of meat on that bone.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got too. If you boys are ready to roll into ratings and go into other stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Well then, guess first, because I've been told off before for not doing that.
Yeah, bitch.
So, Paul, my good sir. Fuck you. Paul, my good sir, what would you give this game that we played?
You know, like I would say that, you know, it's definitely better than 3, you know, but it doesn't have the polish of the more recent games in the series that I've played, you know, so it does feel like a step back, you know, and it doesn't quite have the balance in the like Nate was saying, the levity versus the, you know, melodrama that they do, you know. But overall, I would like all of these games rate very high for me. So it's hard to differentiate. Just so that I have like a little bit of room to play with, I'm gonna put this at 8.5. Let me see, ass-oriented heat actions out of 10. The one where you grab them and just slam them down on like the what do they call those?
Bollards.
The bollards.
Yeah.
That move always just makes your sphincter tighten up. You're just like, that looks like it hurts.
It makes yours tighten up. It makes mine loosen up. I'm like watching it, like, yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, then, Mr. Loose Butthole, what would you give this game?
I think this one is really obvious for me. I think Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 2 are the greatest games we've ever played, ever, period. They're fucking phenomenal. I think 3 is the bottom tier, and I think that 1 is the tier between. And I think this one is just, it's in that tier between 0, 2, and
3.
1. I think this is just, it's fine. It's good. It was a really fun game. I enjoyed it. It's a 9.5, Killusions out of Killusion!
Okay.
All right. I'll go next. We'll let Nate go last. I really did enjoy this. I liked it a lot more than I liked 3, obviously. I didn't like it as much as 0, but I think I did enjoy this more than I enjoyed Kiwami 1 and 2, other than cabaret stuff. I really thought that the multiple characters was done in a good and satisfying way. It didn't feel like everything was being jerked around. The story was tied together nicely with a little bow. And I'm very interested in seeing how the characters that continue on do evolve. And while I had my things that I didn't quite enjoy, like the traveling through the rooftops, running away from cops, the chase scenes in particular were something that annoyed the shit out of me in this game. But other than that, I'm going to give this a solid 8. 8 loans out of 10 takoyaki orders for Hana-chan.
Delicious.
All right. I feel like that just leaves me.
She prefers Yakuniki, though.
All right. I feel like this just leaves me. Surprisingly, I keep bouncing on this one because this is either my second or third favorite Yakuza game now. Overall, it's just, like you said, better than 3 and Kiwami, in my opinion, just 100% undeniably.
Yep. Easy.
It is a lot better story-wise than Kiwami 2. It is a lot more interesting story-wise. The problem is the gameplay falls a little bit lower and the side quests and side stuff falls below it. So it's in this really interesting part where I think it's almost... I don't know if it's my second or third favorite. I'm still struggling to determine whether I like this more than Kiwami 2 or not. So I don't remember what I rated that one, but this one's right up there with it. We can put that on the same tier if we're talking like that for me. Where I'm going to give this, where 0's the best, and then it's this and Kiwami 2 on par with each other. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 9 out of 10. Spicy knives.
Spicy knife.
I love the spicy knife. That's my favorite weapon in the series.
Gotta love the spicy knife.
It's so good.
So I think that's where I'm leaving this one at 9. It's really good. Play it.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 stars. Wisdom Seiji and says check it out. Wait, wrong show.
Shout out Statbog. And Ian. All right, so I guess that would mean we'll move into some questions today.
Yeah.
So, our first one comes in from Kana. What's some of your favorite tunes to get jacked to? After all, this isn't Yab's Pod, so I mean working out. Thank you for the distinction, Kana.
Oh, can I just blow right through that? A song I don't really listen to on my own ever, but when I'm trying to lift a big-ass weight, I fucking love Walk by Pantera. Just like, that gets me going.
Heavy but groovy, I can see that.
Yeah.
For me, there's always been a few different ones. Like Korn's "Let's Do This Now" is a really hype song. Pretty much anything by Hatebreed, because their riffs are just so chuggy, but again rhythmic, like, and just make you bounce, and you can really get a good pump like rhythm to it. And then for if I'm doing like cardio and things like that, I like to listen to music that has a lot of stuff going on with guitar, so I can listen to, and I'm paying more attention to that than I am the fire burning in my legs.
Yeah, fair enough.
So those are my choices.
Yeah, it works out well.
Yeah, I think for me, like, it might be kind of a basic bitch answer, but like when I'm lifting, I just kind of want to listen to my Metallica and Megadeth. You know, it's just like, it's what I grew up lifting weights to, and it's what I still lift weights to. And then for cardio these days, honestly, I just listen to podcasts.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. When I work out, I don't really do I don't really listen to music. I do a lot of exercise bike stuff, and I'll watch anime, you know. So that's kind of my noise, you know. There are some anime OPs that really get me hype. Kickback for Chainsaw Man is an absolute banger. Second OP for Mashal, Bling Bang Bang Born, is really good. But that's not really a workout song. You know, but yeah, no, I guess not applicable would be my answer. You know,
That's fair.
All right, let's move into this next one. This one comes in from Jeff. And which emote are you taking? So it's for movies, animated movies. So the like emote is Bolt, Treasure Planet. Let me actually post this picture in the group chat for you real quick, too.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So the like is Bolt, Treasure Planet, Pocahontas, Meet the Robinsons. The love is Rescuers Down Under, Homeward Bound, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and The Emperor's New Groove. The crying one is The Great Mouse Detective, Atlantis the Lost Empire, A Goofy Movie, and Fantasia 2000. The laughing is Oliver and Company, The Brave Little Toaster, The Tigger Movie, and Tarzan. And the care emoji is Brother Bear, Hercules, Princess and the Frog, and Pooh's Grand Adventure.
As much as I love Hercules, and everybody knows because we played it for the show and we talked about how much I loved that movie in that episode, I cannot deny that Old Sad Tear is fire. Great Mouse Detective is an underrated gem. Atlantis is another underrated gem. Goofy Movie is a banger, and Fantasia, bro, like, it's Fantasia. Even though it's Fantasia 2000, it's still Fantasia. Like, those are really cool visual art type movies with good, you know, classical music in them. I really enjoy it. So I'm going that tier.
Yeah, I also have to go with the crying emoji or tear emoji, whatever you call it.
All right, well, I'm gonna,
mainly because of Goofy Movie.
Yes.
I'm gonna literally just hit the heart just because of Hunchback of Notre Dame, because fucking Hellfire is the greatest Disney villain song of all time, and fuck you if you don't agree. You give me that and you give me Emperor's New Groove, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, it's been...
The poison for Cusco.
Yeah, exactly. It's between two of them for me.
Yep.
It's either the heart or the care emoji, because like, but I think I have to go with the heart, because like, out of the care emoji ones, there's two that I really like, which is Princess and the Frog and Hercules. Out of the heart emoji, there's three of those that are freaking fantastic. Emperor's New Groove, like, it's perfect. Hunchback of Notre Dame is amazing, but I'm never gonna not love the Rescuers Down Under and Joanna's Eggs.
Yeah.
Joanna's Eggs, what's up?
So,
also, Homeward Bound, heart-wrencher, but a great movie. And I have to give a shout-out to Winnie the Pooh. Like, Winnie the Pooh is OG.
I mean, but like, when Homeward Bound is my least favorite movie on that row, it's gotta be that row.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty fire row.
Legit.
All right, so our next question comes in from, gotta find it, from Adam. We get ourselves a good little fuck, marry, kill. So we have Akiyama, Saejima, and Tanemura. And we're leaving Kiryu off because we all know he's perfect, so you don't get to play with Kiryu here.
So it's fuck, marry, kill, Akiyama, Saejima, Tanemura.
Yep.
I feel like there's one really obvious answer here.
I'm probably about to give it to... I'm going to fuck Saejima because I feel like he could throw me around.
Fucking animal. No
I'm a marry
question.
Akiyama. Because he's got all that money and he's a handsome boy. And I'm going to kill Tanemura because, like, ACAB.
Honestly, Dalton, that is literally my exact thought process. Fucking, if I want to get one solid fuck, it's gonna be Saejima. If I want to get fucking married, if I want someone that's got disability, it's Akiyama. And Tanemura is unfortunately a cop. He's a good cop. That's nice. He's still a cop.
Yeah.
For me, like, I think that I would marry Saejima. Like, there's a absolute loyalty that he displays.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I think really makes solid husband material right there.
Especially considering he's had very little proof to work on. He's just like, people told him shit. He's been outside of murdering people for like 2 weeks out of 30-something years.
But yeah, and then I would fuck Akiyama. Akiyama seems like he knows some stuff, you know, like knows some techniques,
got some moves.
I'm gonna be honest. Tanemura though could probably do some shit with the cuffs if you're trying to just get the best techniques. I mean, I'm going with Saejima still because he's got the muscle, but god damn, Tanemura could do some shit. You know, he's got that Aikido. He can lock you down.
Got those Steven Seagal powers.
Exactly. Fuck you.
I mean, for me, the answer is we're gonna fuck Tanemura because, let's be honest, he's a pretty boy and I'm a top. So
he is pretty dumb. Okay. I don't think you would get the full joy out of Tanemura if you're a top. I mean, like, yes, he's a pretty twink, but like, I still think that his gifts are tops.
All of them are, but I am one, so they're too bad. So sad.
Alright, fair enough.
And then I'm going to marry Akiyama because he's got the goods. He's got the money, he's got the power, he's going to take care of me. And I'm sorry, Saejima, you just don't have anything for me, bro.
I'm going to shoot Saejima when we're ready to
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but Saejima would rock your house so you wouldn't even know what day is Christmas.
Quickly, this is just something that I learned about the other day, heard about it in a podcast, and because we're talking about fuck, marry, kill, it made me think of it. There is a fucking website that you can go on, and it is called Rub Maps.
Oh, God.
Now, what Rub Maps is, apparently, is a collection of massage parlors that you can search in your area and find the ones where you can get the little extra at the end, right? And there are reviews and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, there are marks where people have put where like, this is listed as not sexual. Like, they do not jerk you off. These other places are like highly rated and like, oh my God. I was like, I can't believe this is a thing. Like, this is a fucking real website. I thought it was a joke on a podcast. No, it is a real legitimate website. And I spent like 5 minutes just scrolling through it and just laughing because I'm like, oh my God, I've driven by that place. I've driven by that place.
Could have my dick jerked. Could have my dick jerked. Could have my dick jerked.
Almost all of them exclusively Asian massage parlors. A lot of Korean and Chinese ladies, apparently.
Wow. You're super racist for saying that.
No. It was listed on the website, like ethnicity, Korean.
Wait, they have ethnicity listed? Like, oh no, I cannot let a Persian girl jerk me off. That would be scandalous.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. But yeah, it was one of the things you could look on there. It was like, because it would tell you, like, it was a white girl, like Caucasian, or, you know, it was.
Damn, she looks fucking Norwegian. I am flaccid.
I just couldn't believe it was a real thing. And yeah, goddamn. Anyway, next question.
Yeah. Okay, so this next one comes in from Adam. What is your favorite D&D alignment and why? I never really played much D&D, so I don't have much of an opinion on this, so I'm going to leave this one to the experts.
My favorite alignment is I will murder everyone who wants to be chaotic neutral.
I am always chaotic neutral. Like, I love, like, just the ability to do whatever I want, and my character is not really fazed by it. But he's not evil. Like, he's not really good, he's not evil, so he's not gonna like murder your whole family, but he's also not gonna like buy y'all a house either.
Chaotic Neutral is just like, yeah, if you find a cool person playing it, it's the best rogue alignment, but holy shit, a lot of people use it to just be dicks to their own party, and it sucks.
Yeah, that is something I don't like to do. I'm very much I like my party to get along, but yeah, I have seen people definitely abuse that alignment for sure.
My favorite alignment...
In my experience...
Go ahead.
In my experience, if someone says that they're going to play evil alignment of any kind, like, that's where, oh, we're going to have a bad time in this group, aren't we? You know, like, that's the sign that someone's actively trying to sabotage the game, you know?
I mean, people shouldn't be playing or evil alignments in a party unless literally you tell them this is an evil game. Like, if someone shows you an evil character sheet, you're like, hey, fuck you, I asked you to play D&D with me.
Maybe I've just been around more edgelords than you have. Like, it comes up and it's always just like, oh, we're not going to get along.
No, see, the thing is, like, the people I like just boot the edgelords. They're like, hey, you know what? We're not going to have a good time. Fuck you. Go have a better time elsewhere. It's not going to be here.
I will say, I think it was Oxventure, Jane's character Prudence was a tiefling warlock. And she was pretty evil, but it was never in an asshole way. It was always just like she wanted to do things to further her demonic presence and stuff like that. But it never really negatively affected the party unless it was something that was like funny.
And I feel like you can play like a lawful evil character in that way, especially.
Yeah. But for me, honestly, my favorite D&D alignment to not this is hard to explain. Like, to play as a character, I tend to gravitate towards true neutral or chaotic good. Like, chaotic good is like the most basic bitch thing, where it's just like, I don't really want to think about this.
Guess what, bitch? I was about to say chaotic good myself, because that is literally me just, I don't like rules, but I do like doing the right thing. So, that's me. But, it's all you know.
Like, when I play NPCs, like when I'm DMing stuff, I find the most interesting time playing a lawful good character, you know, like trying to represent somebody that has like complete faith in the system, and like seeing how they get fucked by that is really interesting to me, you know. Like, it's a thing that I've explored a couple of times with a couple of different characters, and I don't know, it's just an interesting thing to look at, you know, as a guy that grew up as a very rule-following boy, you know, it just kind of helps me deconstruct some of my own views, you know. So, I don't know if that is such a direct answer to the question, but I find it very interesting.
Word up.
Cool. All right. Let's go move into a couple more questions. We'll go into wrap up here in a minute. I want to get a couple more of these in first. So this next one comes in from Jeremy. And he wants to know, it's 1991, and it's game and movie night. So which game and which movie are you picking? I'm posting this picture in chat, and I'll read through these real quick for the audience at home. The options for video games are Sonic the Hedgehog, SimCity, F-Zero, Super Mario World, Super Castlevania 4, Streets of Rage, Road Rash, Civilization, Battletoads, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Golden Axe 2, Darius Twin, and Super Ghouls and Ghosts, where your options for movies are Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Addams Family, Silence of the Lambs, Hook, The Naked Gun 2.5, Hot Shots. I don't know what this one is.
Is that Class
I
of
think
Nukem
so.
High?
Class of Nukem High 2. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a trauma movie.
Okay. Yeah. Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, Highlander 2, The Quickening, and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Ooh. Well, 1991, I was cum.
Okay.
But had like if it was me now in 1991 and I was having to pick, I'm going Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey and Civilization.
Cool.
Based on how I was in 1991, I would say Battletoads and Turtles 2. Like those, that was a game I played a lot at sleepovers, and that was a movie that I watched a lot. So.
I regret to inform you that's not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. If you look very closely at it, that is the Japanese one. That is actually Ninja Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project.
Well, I'm talking about the movie down on the bottom.
Well, fuck you then. You're right. You got me. I'm owned. My pick would also be Golden Axe 2 and Terminator 2. Dude, I could do anything watching Terminator 2. Just put Terminator 2 on one of my screens and just everything else. I'd have a great time.
Yeah, if some of these were the sequels, I would pick them, because Streets of Rage 2 is much better than Streets of Rage, and Sonic 2 is much better than Sonic. So the group that...
It's the year thing.
I mean, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, that makes a difference. So for this group, I'm going to actually say on this one, Super Mario World, and also Terminator 2.
Yeah, I think yours is better. I want to go to your party, actually.
All right. This next one we're going to do real quick. Find my list again. Comes in from Jeff. And one of these has to go, and it's a food product. So which one of these foods is going? The options are an apple pie, a fried chicken, the nastiest looking hamburger I've seen in my entire life, and macaroni and cheese.
So is this AI shit? Because, like, a lot of them look a little sussy.
That burger looks so good.
Looks so nasty, dude. Everything's wrong with that.
Oh,
The pie and the burger both look like AI to me. I'm not as sure with the fried chicken and the mac and cheese, but the pie and the burger look like AI generated. But for me, I would remove apple pie. I've never been a fan of hot fruit. So
that's homophobic.
That's pretty easy for me.
Yeah,
I said they were hot. They're just not for me.
Wow. Well, if any hot fruit are out there listening, you know where to, send your messages. I do agree with Paul. I am not an apple pie fan. I just don't enjoy, like, hot desserts that much. I really don't, eat sweet food. The rest are awesome.
I like all four of these things, but if I had to get rid of one, I'm getting rid of pie. Apple pie, because there's a lot of other pies that are delicious, like Boston cream pie. Fried chicken, burgers, macaroni and cheese. I'm not giving those up.
Hey, Dalton, come with me to the Northeast. I'll Boston cream pie you.
Yeah, I think one of the most overrated food items in the entire world is actually cheese. Cheese is not as good as people really want to say it is. Cheese is kind of overrated in general. It's nice to put on top of something, but I don't think it should ever be the main feature of something at the same time.
I feel that way about bacon.
So we're killing macaroni and cheese here because it's just kind of overrated. Wow. It's just an excuse to eat cheese.
I guess you could still have chicken Alfredo and shit.
Yeah, chicken Alfredo would be way better than mac and cheese.
Yeah. Actually, you're not too far off. Like, fucking, I've had, vegan pizza that didn't even have a cheese substitute. It was just toppings and crust. And I was like, shit, this tastes fucking great.
Because cheese is unnecessary.
You might be onto something, my dude.
And I want to wrap it up with this question because it's topical and I think it's a good one. And this one also comes in from good old Jeffy Lube. And he wants to know, in honor of the new Fallout show, what is your strongest perk in the special system? So strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, or luck.
Oh, mine charisma. For sure.
You would be surprised, but I think mine actually is also charisma, just because I've been, this close to being in street fights, 6 or 7 times in my life, and every time I've talked myself out of it. I've literally been hanging out with drunk people, and they're like, oh, you want to fight? And I'm like, you don't really want to fight me, do you? And they're like, I guess not, whatever. So, when it needs to happen, apparently have a surprising charisma.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's luck or agility for me. I don't think either one of those factors too heavily for me. And my endurance could use some work right now. So I honestly, out of the top end, I think strength, perception, charisma, and intelligence are my best. And I honestly think it comes down to between charisma and intelligence, because like, and this is how, like, this is why we all do podcasts. We're all cocky as fuck and think we're charismatic. Yeah, right.
Everybody loves you.
I'm actually going to give it to my intelligence, because I think it's gotten me pretty far in life, and I don't think my wife would have married me if she thought I was a dumbass. So,
For sure. The reason you two met was because you were like fucking kings of the fucking college, and all of a sudden you were like, wait, this other one's actually smart? What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm also stuck between charisma and intelligence, and that feels so conceited to say. But the thing is that, like, I feel like any answer to this would come across as conceited, you know, or just flat out wrong, you know, like. It's just like, no, guys, I'm so fucking agile. You don't even know. Like, you want to see me run out the door and back? Nate, you want to see me do it again?
Did we do the question about
Yes,
what
bitch.
your character in a
Love
dating
it.
sim would be? Because I would like to do that one this week.
Sure, we'll go ahead and throw that one.
I think it was
Yeah, so the last one will be then from Dane. If you were characters in a dating sim visual novel about starting, say, the Steam Machine Club, what would your character's subplot be? He's asking for a friend, not inspiration to get past his own writer's block.
I feel like Dalton would be the president of the Steam Machine Club in the Fantasia. He would be the Monica. He would be the, the main bird.
Yeah, he's the student council president.
Yeah.
He has that armband that's and everything.
I think my subplot would be I also have writer's block, and I need assistance in writing a love song for a girl that I'm into. But there is a weird like triangle thing going on where I'm dating a girl. I'm in love with another girl, but really the girl who's for me and I don't see it yet, and you help me lead me to that conclusion, is the girl that I've been friends with forever. And she's like all about me, but I don't see it because I'm a big dummy.
Nice. So I feel like my character is going to be really basic. Basically, if you guys know me, I get really obsessed with shit like every month or so. Like there's like one thing I'm like, oh shit, this is the only thing I care about now. I feel like the character thing would be just to be like, tolerate my nonsense. And I feel like my character would be like the first ending you get in the game. Like the obvious, like, you're like, oh, okay, I talked to you about pinball for a minute and it's all good.
So my subplot would be I'm actually just the person you go to talk to activate the fishing minigame within the dating sim.
God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that mine would just be like kind of I would be the character that opens up the arcade as a playable area, you know, and I just show you all around, and like, it's basically, you have to compete for like high scores and shit, to increase my affection levels, because I like it when people are better than me at stuff.
But if you get too close to my pinball machines, I'm gonna fuck you up, kid.
And I would like to state that there would have to be an achievement in the game for Nate's section, and it would be if Nate and you are out fishing together and Nate catches a fish that is bigger than yours, you get an achievement that says, then he whooped out a fish that was bigger than mine.
Like it.
Yes.
Got 99 problems, but a fish
fish
ain't one.
one. Catch 99 fish. Yes. See, trademark. We're on our way to something. All right. I guess that just leaves some house cleaning, and then we'll get up out of
Gotta figure
here.
out what the next game we're playing is, though.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's right, Willie. It is your choice, my good sir. You get to pick. I'm curious what your choice is going to be.
So here's the thing: is we're going to be playing Monster Hunter World really soon, and so I wanted to pick a quicker game, like a game that didn't have a lot of time in it, so we could get started on Monster Hunter World a little earlier. So it's not quite a short game, but it is a game that I have literally not played because I kept thinking we're going to do it for the podcast eventually. So my pick is Celeste.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah. I like that one.
Yay.
Yeah, it'll be fun for you guys.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, it will.
You guys have a good time with that.
I'm going to have so much fun. But no, that's cool, man. I heard that game's got a really cool narrative that's kind of told through the levels and all that. So I look forward to at least checking that out. And if the game pisses me off, I'll at least watch a video about it so I know what's going on in it. But yeah, that's cool. So we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about some Celeste, and then we'll be on to Monster Hunter World, and then it's my pick. And what do I want to throw at you boys? Part of me wants to throw a long boy so we have an excuse to play the hunter. But we'll figure that out when we get there. I have some time to think. So if you would be so kind as to leave us a review over on iTunes and Spotify, it really helps us in the algorithm. Specifically on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. I do check that every now and then, and I read out new ones if you leave a text review, or you can just throw us 5 stars if you don't feel like typing anything out. But if you let everybody know that we're good boys, we do appreciate that. We're on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us on Twitter, like Steam_podcast. I'm really not that active on there. If you want to reach any of us at most any time, the best way to do it is joining the Discord, bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. Come and join in on the fun. You can find all 4 of us there, actually. And if you would like to check out the website, which is kept up to date by Dane, thank you, Dane. Bit.ly/the Steam Machine Podcast. Just capitalize that phonetically and you'll be fine. But if you really want to be awesome and help me out, because with my job, I'm not going to lie, my mileage checks don't exactly add up to the mileage. So patreon.com/the Steam Machine Podcast. Donate $1 or more a month. Gets you the episodes early and ad-free, and you get the extra Patreon section at the beginning of every episode that is just for the Patreon members. And if you donate $10 or more, you can get your name read on each and every episode like these wonderful people. Nate's Cogsworth, the 7th of June-iper, Jeff, the original Expendable, Mr. Syllables, Old Jeffy Lube, Ariesoradam, shout out to his blog in the Discord, Revival and Extinction, Team Retrogue, go check him out on YouTube, and he also has a podcast that is in the brewing stage. So keep your ears peeled out for that. Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself, Chad the Mad Lad, no goddamn C in his last name, Shaffer, and Flyin Brian, Doran Gray. Thank you guys very, very much. We do appreciate it. It helps out tremendously. Let's see, is there anything else? If you want a shirt, tsmpproductions.threadless.com. Shout out to the JRPG Report, the JRPG news show that me and Mikolov do. If you want to check out the music that I make, nowthenightmare.bandcamp.com. And leave us a 5-star review. Paul, you got anything you'd like to plug, my good sir?
I write a comic called Waifu Apocalypse. You can follow me on social media or my artists, Wayward Cross Artists, Wayward Cross Art, Wayward Cross Comics. I've got some other stuff coming down the pipeline that I'm in the kind of pre-planning stage for, so hopefully I'll be able to start talking about that before too long. But if you like the idea of body pillows coming to life and murdering nerds at a convention, that's the stuff I write. So check it out.
Hell yeah. Do check it out. It is definitely worth your time. Well, we appreciate you joining us, our resident Yakuza guest. We appreciate you, my good sir.
Always happy to be here, man.
And I'm sure we will see you again relatively soon. For the boys, then we'll be back in 2 weeks to play some Celeste. And as always, everybody, take it easy.